now. One sec.
I am here since Hydra is gone. Right.
When he has to disappear. Okay.
Yes, and this time I will have this little dude.
Okay, so I think we're live.
For me. We're live?
We should be live on YouTube, so if you have your YouTubes open, please mute them.
Oh, yes. Or we are alive.
We are live. And live.
Nice.
And I'm
looking good.
gonna do one more thing. Everybody, welcome to this first installment of thanks, Symbiojo. This first installment of the Great German Sculpt Off. If you're wondering about our random name, it was inspired by the Great British Bake Off. And if you're not familiar with the Great British Bake Off, well, tough. But yeah, we're gonna do some fun sculpting today. Myself and brother Hydra here. And we've taken your requests on Instagram. So Brother Pink is also here. And he's going to be taking your requests. Hello, Brother Pink. Welcome. And throwing us ideas for what we're going to sculpt. So far, I see in the chat, we've got Crafting Troll, possibly, Jacob Foster, Marco Schuse. Ooh. He says he hopes he'll be able to watch. So I'm not sure if we measure up to his importance attention yet, but we shall see. Flynnhammer's here, Brian Naisbitt is here, and Sebastian. Hello all, and welcome. I'm gonna fudge with a couple stuff, so I guess you can see which one is Hydra and which one is me, because the Hydra one says Simon on it. But I'm still going to... I have a plan. I just have to add something. One sec.
Crafting Control is
one.
here.
Sorry?
Crafting Control is here.
Yep. Welcome, Crafting Troll. Okay, I got some things I prepared earlier, so you can tell whose screen is whose, if you're not familiar with our workspaces.
Block some of the screen.
Well, we'll see.
Block some of the screen.
They'll be small, don't worry. I just gotta pull them out.
Oh, the thing that's blinking is me having fun with my Logitech camera app.
Yeah.
That actually can show some and there it eludes me already. Some sign with my name on, but it's massive.
Oh, there's like a setting for it?
Yeah.
Well, I have a graphic solution for this, but my computer apparently doesn't want to load it.
Nah, that's fine. What's the point?
Yeah, good point. Fuck it. If it breaks the stream, it's not worth it.
Right.
Yep.
As we have experience from last time. Yeah, I don't want to break the stream, but if I break the stream, we'll try to pull it back up, but it might require me rebooting my computer, so it won't be quick. Oh, OBS does not have permission to access my downloads folder. That's...
Spooky S Bone Man is also joined.
Ooh, Spooky S Bone Man. Good to see you. Welcome. Okay, now this might work. Hold on.
Wow.
What?
Hydra solution was so smart. He just wrote on a piece of paper Hydra screen.
Yeah, but is that even on the screen? I may have I may have cropped it off.
I think you did.
Put it by Smoking Dude down there. He'll be
The
your...
bottle cap is the highest. The top of the bottle cap is the highest thing we can see on
Wait, I got a thing. Okay, now I'm putting a Hydra image over Doraemon. So people know where Hydra is.
Top right, top left.
No, bottom right.
Dirty Bird SF is asking if we're taking requests. We are taking requests. The requests we have in the chain already are hoods, cloth, fabric, flames, bag, hair, sleeves, robes, capes, chainmail, backpack, pocket, couches, and crab claws.
Crab claws.
Crab claws. Well, since we have a backpack in there, I think I should remove this backpack from this dude because, I can sculpt it on. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
No backpack anymore.
There we go. We got some images. I don't know if you know the logos or the pictures.
Oh,
they'll make sense. But
make mine smaller.
Why?
Why?
Dude, I guess that is big. On OBS, it looks small, but I guess it's pretty big.
Okay.
You want to make sure that Angry Doraemon shows up on your picture?
Yeah, I don't care.
Look at
I
this
just found
fancy
this
setup.
curious.
You what?
I just found the sticker curious since I have no idea who that character is.
Yeah.
I lose Mechanica.
Brother Pink knows who that character is. Okay, so I'm getting an error. It says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. How are people in the chat? What are you seeing? How are you feeling? So, folks in the chat, tell us how it looks. Is it okay? Maybe I have to go yell at my wife to not watch porn or something.
First of all, crap, it seems okay, says Dirty Birds.
Okay, that's good. YouTube is not thrilled with us, but maybe YouTube just has high standards.
Yeah. To answer questions, Crafting Troll asked if I have a YouTube channel as well. Yes, I do, but that's only for my students because I'm a teacher, and that I use to work around the distance lessons, and therefore it's just nothing to do with hobby. So I don't have one because I feel I don't have enough output to have one on my own. Okay, so we need to get rolling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa, what? My video is playing in picture-in-picture mode. I don't want that.
Everything seems fine. I
So,
don't see any
that's
movement
good.
on your screen.
I was just trying to make YouTube crappier quality, but I don't think it really matters.
Don't care about YouTube.
I guess I can get that out of there. Okay. All right. Someone says it's a bit stop motion-y. I don't know if that's Hydra's screen or my screen, because Hydra's video is a little stop motion-y on mine, but maybe that's just for me. All right. Back to, so the idea is that we asked a bunch of people for requests for what they wanted to learn how to sculpt, and then we are going to do it live on stream. And I initially thought that we were going to both sculpt the same thing live on stream, but then Brother Pink's way smarter than I am, and he was like, why would you sculpt the same thing when each of you could take a different thing to sculpt? So we'll see how it does.
Yeah. And I have worked through the requests and have seen that a lot of the things that are requested were sort of cloth things.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
And I have these two guys, and they both need desperately change their appearance. And for this dude, I just had glued to it a backpack. And someone asked for a backpack, so I will, just sculpt it on. Aside from that, he will need some beard, and I felt like he should need, as he's going to be a sailor, he needs some headdress as well, and beard, and he'll get a wood leg.
Yeah.
And some smoothing out. So that's what's going to happen to him, and he needs a beard and a hood. Or I can do a hood on him, but you can.
Did anyone request a beard though?
What?
Did anyone request a beard?
Hair.
No.
Oh, hair, you're right. I pictured hair on a head, but I have an idea for a model that I could sculpt hair onto the head of as well. Like womanly long hair or something. Brother Pink.
Yo.
Do you have any thoughts about how to do this, or a better way to do this, or how you want it to run, or...
No.
Okay.
I just wanted to go. We got to get going.
All right, let's get going.
SF is asking, you could have different techniques for sculpting the same thing. It's true. The idea was going to be that they just start sculpting on different things, and then if we make it through the list, they can start cycling back. So right now, Hydra, are you going to do backpacks?
Yes, I would start with leather strap and backpack.
So if Mr. Pink does something else like chainmail, hair, or something like capes, and then we get through a bunch of them, Mr. Pink can double back and do his own version of backpack later. It's just, I think, also more interesting if two guys are doing different things at the same time.
Yeah, although there could be some interest in seeing the different approaches. Like when I initially thought about us doing this, I was thinking like, oh, it'd be cool if like people give us a problem to solve, and then we see how like each of us solves it differently. But I do appreciate your suggestion that if we do it your way, then we get more stuff done.
Okay.
So
How about
let's.
some basics?
Yeah.
As probably everyone is familiar with your set of tools, I figured I should give a rundown on my things I have. Start with, so you can start sculpting and do whatever you do.
Mr. Pink, what are you gonna?
Well, Brother Pink, you got to give me something to sculpt.
So Hydra's doing backpacks.
Yeah.
Well, what are you setting up there for your miniature?
Well, I want to put some robes on this guy, but
Boom, done.
But I actually don't have
easy.
the armature all set up yet. I was trying to figure out the armature while we were talking.
Right. Well, you're gonna do the robes. You got it?
Sure. Hold on. Let me get this armature in here, and then we'll got it. Okay, robes. You want me to do robes?
Yeah.
Okay. I got a couple of different like starter miniatures here that can work for that. 1 sec. I'm just gonna check my settings. Because I don't feel like this is my normal setting. Oh, that looks more normal. Okay. So, when I think of robes, I think of kind of two different style of robes. You have, hold on, I'm going to drill this over here so I don't make a mess. You have like the kind of robes and tabards that hang close to the body. And then you have the robes and tabards that kind of stick out from the body. So what I was messing around here while we were starting is creating an armature for a piece of fabric or a robe that extends out from the body. Because it's hard to do that with green stuff because green stuff sags. But I think what I'll start with is one that hangs close to the body and then mess around with this one that goes away from the body. I'm just going to glue this in so that it's set by the time we need to use it because you don't ever want to get green stuff and glue in the same place. Well, green stuff and glue...
that's wrong. That's so wrong.
Sorry. Okay, well, you can talk about it when you do your robes. You don't ever want to get green stuff, glue, and silicone shapers in the same place.
There you go.
There we go. Because that will result in you being very, very sad and having to call Hydra to tell you to give you more silicone shapers because you ruined yours.
Well, you just made something that isn't silicone anymore, but still a shaper.
Well, it's a crusty silicone shaper is what you've made. And
Everything's a shaper.
No matter what you do, you will not be able to get the superglue crust off your silicone shaper, and it will be ruined. So, 1 sec.
So let's hear a little bit from Hydra. What's going on with the backpack there?
I just figured, I just saw that I needed to get my, this gap of cloth covered. So while this is not very interesting at all, I would like to share some thoughts for beginners. So, as you probably all know, because you are familiar with Mr. Ping's work and his tutorials, epoxy sculpt, no, not epoxy sculpt, like most of the putties are two-part resins that cure, and resin, because of a chemical reaction, and resin doesn't like two things. One is fat and the other one is water.
When you say fat, the word you're looking for is oil.
Oil.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. So if it doesn't like fat, it doesn't like me, so... Yeah.
I'm a fatty too.
So it doesn't like oil, and since we're having this situation, Mr. Pink and I are using, not making any commercial here because you cannot read it perfectly, but
you can read mine, don't worry.
Cream we're using.
Wow, what's on the top of yours?
Things. So what?
What's on top of yours? Is that like dried green stuff or something? That you keep on?
Dried green stuff and dried epoxy sculpt.
Yeah, so I've taken my Nivea cream to lubricate my tools. I just took some and I smeared it on the back of my hand here because that's easy to get at with the tool. And when you lubricate your tools with it, you don't need very much. You just need like a thin film. It doesn't even need to look white. It just needs to look a little hazy. And that'll be enough to keep the green stuff from sticking. Hydra, can you make your video any brighter? It's a little bit dark.
Well, I was going to ask Hydra if he can bring his miniature a little closer to the camera for a second.
Yeah, it's...
Hang on a second. I just need to check
Focus.
the zoom.
Brother Pink, do you want to check the
Oh.
questions while we're fucking around?
I'm on him. Somebody's asking. Marco has returned and he's requesting a beer.
I can't send that through the internet. We want to sculpt a beer?
They're talking about the tools or something about using Army Painter tool or
Yeah. I thought
the
someone...
old GW sculpting tool, Vallejo. I didn't know Vallejo sells sculpting tools.
I've never seen Vallejo tools. Have you seen those, Hydra?
No. But I really suck at that.
At what?
At knowing who's selling what. Because I sort of bought my stuff once and
Same here.
haven't ever used anything else. Because, Games Workshop sold me this like aeons ago, I think 25 years or something.
Yeah.
And
I got the same one here.
Not that long, but when you can, because this is a tutorial show, right?
Yeah.
You can still buy those, but what you have to look out for is the edge of this thing. So this edge needs to be close to be as sharp as a knife. If it doesn't take, I took my Dremel rotary tool and made it sharp, and afterwards took some polish to polish that area. We had the discussion on Wednesday. You can take sandpaper to smooth it,
Yeah.
to get but afterwards you need to take softer and softer sandpaper to make it really smooth. If it's still rough, it always will drag the green stuff places you don't want to. So that's one thing. And as much as I like Nivea for starters, I have found out something that I wanted to share with you as well. When you start mixing your green stuff, use water instead.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing here. Wetting my fingers with water so that it doesn't stick, because if you get the Nivea on your fingers and then mix your green stuff, it's going to get all gross and oily.
Yeah, we'll mix with it, and I found that I'm having a hard time to stick green stuff afterwards to things, and that's pretty annoying.
So if you've got the Nivea on your hands when you're mixing it, it's going to be a not so sticky green stuff to start with.
Exactly. That can be useful for certain things, but most of the time I found it, I have more issues with green stuff not sticking places than with green stuff sticking somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody here, Atelier AG, usually just uses water.
Oh, Atelier! Welcome, buddy. Good to see you.
Is it just that Nivea lasts longer when you coat your tool with it than saliva or water would last?
Yeah. It hangs around. Right. The oil hangs around.
Yeah. Like with water, I find I always have to keep, like I touch the green stuff, I put it in one place, I have to re-wet my tool almost immediately after I've lifted it off the green stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Manzak is here.
Oh, Manzak, welcome, buddy.
Is Milliput Extra Fine the same as Epoxy Sculpt?
Hell no, I hate Milliput Extra Fine. Hydra, have you worked with Milliput very much?
Nope, never before.
Well, I don't hate... Milliput Extra Fine is actually a really great putty. I don't love normal Milliput. I would say epoxy putty is softer than Milliput. And it hardens... I think Milliput hardens pretty hard, but Epoxy Sculpt definitely hardens harder than green stuff. It's more machinable. But in general, I just feel like Milliput is weirdly flaky, and it's not like as easy to smooth as something like Epoxy Sculpt is, or something like green stuff. So Milliput's fine if you can get it, and you can mix Milliput with green stuff, but when I've experimented with mixing normal yellow-gray Milliput with green stuff, I thought I found that the green stuff cured faster than normal, which was not good. And when you mix it like I'm doing, green stuff with Epoxy Sculpt, it cures at the same pace as normal green stuff, but you just get more of it because you're mixing a cheaper putty with the Kneadatite, the green stuff, and it hardens harder than it would normally. Like normal green stuff's pretty rubbery.
Sorry to cut you off, Mr.
Go ahead.
Brother Pink. I was wondering if Simon could do us a little close-up and tell us what he's doing.
Of course.
Sorry, bud.
He's actually doing shit. That's good.
Your strap was like a noodle. You rolled out a little snaky, and then you're flattening it out.
Yeah. That's how I do it. So
Okay.
I basically just roll the noodle.
Now, what are you rolling it on? It looks like a specialty. Is it just baking paper?
Okay, because let me do a rundown first. So
Sure.
my setup is I have a plastic sheet. It's basically the lid of my sculpting toolbox, which looks like this. And it's covered with baking paper. I glued with tape to both sides, so I can change it once it's, I don't know, broken. And I coated it very thinly with a fine coat of Nivea because the baking paper I have is pretty old.
Okay.
It's been around here for a while, and therefore it's not that greasy anymore. Fresh baking paper doesn't need that treatment. So this is a non-sticking surface. I can flatten out any cloth that I want, so anything that's flat. So what I did was I did the noodle and flattened it out with the spoon side of things because I can do that on the model itself, like flattening out a noodle, but when I have it this way, I can, how shall I put it?
Like pre-do it? Like plan it?
Oh, you can tuck it. You can tuck the strap under the arm, and you don't have to worry about it being the wrong shape.
Exactly, that's the thing, because when I flatten it out here, I have it flattened out evenly, and when I flatten it out on the model, it kind of takes the shape of the model itself, and I want it to have its own volume, to be a strap. And the other thing that I'm doing is that I'm cutting it actually in half, because although it's rather thin, the cut edge where I separate the two things is standing up a little, and I turn this thing upside down and have the cutting edge on sticking up, so we have a small ridge up here that stands up. If I would use this side for the upward side, it would not stand up that much. Of course, I could go back and lift up the ridge of the shoulder of the shoulder strap a little with the tip of my sculpting tool, but I'm lazy. Trying not to do it. Sorry.
No, that's a really good idea that I have never really thought about. Like cutting your green stuff before you apply it, so that you're at least controlling the amount that's on the model. A lot of the times I put some green stuff down and I put too much, and then I'm just spreading it around left and right and kind of like too much, rather than deciding how much I need to put on the model before I put it on the model.
Yeah, and I think especially with cloth, that's very important that you try to, at least I found that useful, thinking about in advance, like how would a tailor approach a certain cloth piece? For example, a hood, how does a hood look spread out? And so it curves sort of around the head evenly.
Yeah, actually, that's one thing I notice a lot about when somebody does a bad hood. The main thing is that you use too much green stuff and it looks like putty on the head rather than a piece of flat fabric.
Yeah, you don't want to have too much in your hoods. I think we're going to get to hoods later. Whereas Simon's doing it the very planned way, I'm doing it the other way, which is just I took a blob of green stuff and stuck it on the model. So for this necromancer dude, I used a not Escher. What the hell are they called?
Delac,
yeah, a Delac lower body from Necromunda, but I cut out the ass piece that had the futuristic armor on it because this guy's supposed to be medieval. So now I'm just trying to cover up that thing at the back by adding a flap to his cloak, and yeah, I'm just kind of basically his cloak looks a little too futuristic, so I'm trying to just kind of make it look more fabric-y on the back. And I just took a big blob of green stuff and I'm just smoothing it out here to get the general coverage that I want. I was hiding the buckles on his lower body because I didn't want them to really show.
Sorry, I want to ask Hydra about. He just put some glue, I believe it was, in the bottle cap.
Yeah.
And
So Mr.
gluing-
Pink just said. Mr. Pink just said minutes ago, never mix glue and green stuff, and that's one of the secrets I have found very useful for my sculpting. I'm putting green. Well, not super glue everywhere, but when I want to stick the green stuff in some place for sure, I'm not relying on the stickiness of green stuff itself. I'm putting a small drop of super glue there because I find that, or I think that it shapes differently when it has a certain area where it's really attached to the model.
Well, you're not taking. You want the backpack to be a three-dimensional object. You're not taking a piece of green stuff, smashing it onto the back, and then having to build it back up. That's really smart.
So,
and so, like the natural thing when you wear a backpack, it isn't smushed directly into your bag. It's kind of hanging there. That's really, really smart.
So there's I don't know if you can see it, but it still has the curve around here. So there's some sort of a thing in behind the backpack. You can still see a bit of that. So what I start the backpack with is the general shape of a square. And I don't care too much about the exact shape because it will be filled with weird things. But so when you look at the backpack I ripped off, so that's the thing we discussed last time. Have a look at how things are modeled before. So this is having a lid, like just a
flap.
A flap, yeah. And I want my backpack to have something similar, but I want it to be filled up to the very top. Mm-hmm. So when you look from the side, this is more like a sack that's hanging. So it's like a tear-shaped thing. And I want it to be more boxy, like there are things stuck to the very high top. So the lid changes a bit. And so I have to, the lid starts up here. So I'm just gently pushing a line into the green stuff. Never push something like this, like straight into green stuff. Always try to kind of push from the side. I don't know if you can see that.
And then come around?
Yeah. Okay. I'll try to adjust the
Mr. Pink, Studio Joe once. Oh, maybe it was Sean. Something about assless chaps. I think he's asking about you.
Assless chaps? Why do I get the assless chaps question?
Well, why am I seeing show hide?
Oh, it's because you're seeing my view. Hold on.
Okay. Well, everyone's seeing that on YouTube.
There we go. Everyone. So there's nothing's hidden. Yeah, I guess I could have put assless chaps on him because the butt was missing out of his thing, but I'm choosing to sculpt another fold of robe back here, and what I'm doing is I don't really have a plan, so I'm just following like the natural folds of his like underrobe, and because it's kind of like folding in here, I'm like, well, maybe I should fold my thing in there, and I'm not really sure if I want this to be just like a square piece of cloth that hangs down, or I want it to be kind of like pointed or something, like kind of like a weird long ass flap. Basically, I don't know what I'm doing. I've got a sticker right here. I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh, you can't see it. Never mind.
There was an earlier question about things to add to your green stuff to make it go further. What's your go-to add-on to green stuff to make it go further?
Epoxy Sculpt.
Epoxy Sculpt? Ms. Hydra? What would you add?
What else could you
add? What do you mean to go further to?
I think last longer.
The working time?
That's what I'm assuming.
No, just to make more, I think. Where is it? Yeah, it's gone.
I think last longer? Who asked the question?
Oh, that's the only way to increase the amount of green stuff you have.
With Epoxy Sculpt.
Well, I like throwing in a little bit of Fimo. But always I try to make sure it's less than everything else.
Hydra used to do that.
Well, it really depends on what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it wouldn't be when sculpting. It wouldn't be wise to just say, well, I need just as much green stuff as I can, because then I'm sorry, but I think you just have to go and buy as much green stuff as you need. I think when you add Fimo to green stuff, it changes its properties. So if you, for example, if you add Fimo soft to it, you can work for hours on it without it setting.
But didn't you say you have to be careful not to add too much Fimo soft because it'll stop it from curing?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, when I use Fimo, it's usually like 1 part green stuff, 1 part epoxy sculpt, and then less than any, like, because you divide up your balls, right? You got your yellow and blue to make green. And
always got to divide up your balls.
Epoxy mixes. And then I make sure that the ball of Fimo I use is less than any of those other balls.
Yeah.
Nicholas Tregid.
Oh, Nick! Necron Nick from Too Many Nicks.
Too Many Nicks. Magic Sculpt is the US equals of Epoxy Sculpt. Old GW 3-up models were made with fine and green stuff.
Wait, you're saying that Magic Sculpt is the US equivalent of Epoxy? No. Epoxy Sculpt is the US version of Magic Sculpt. I'm pretty sure Magic Sculpt is UK based. We can't get it here in North America. Or I can't find it, at least.
Softer tip on a silicone shaper is more difficult to work with. You guys agree?
More difficult? What?
A softer tip on a silicone shaper
is what? Yep. More or less difficult?
More difficult.
I don't know. I use
a hard tip on your silicone.
No, shaper? I use almost exclusively soft tips. Like I use a lot of these tips, which is the soft. I have like firmer tips, but I rarely use them. I think it depends on what you're sculpting. I think if you're trying to sculpt armor and you're trying to sculpt like geometric stuff, the harder tips are better. But I think if you're trying to sculpt organics, the softer tips are better.
If you're going to do hard, why not just use a metal tool?
Because there's an in-between. That's why you have silicone shapers, because there's things that silicone shapers can do that a metal tool can't do. And that's why you have different like textures of silicone shapers, the soft or the hard.
One thing I have trouble with metal tools is a lot of times I'm sculpting around a magnet. I've embedded a magnet and I want to put green stuff over top of it to keep it kind of sealed in there, and then I can paint over it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're using a metal tool, you're just sticking to your magnet all the time. So I've had to collect random pieces of junk that are not magnetic that I can use to sculpt with.
Why don't I just get you some silicone shapers? Do you need silicone shapers?
No, I'm fine. I've got all my runarounds.
Okay.
Any advice for getting a smooth blend between green stuff and plastic when sculpting? For example, bulking out armor on mids. How do you? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I found I started mixing green stuff with Fimo Soft, for example, to get smoother transitions. But I found over the time that green stuff actually doesn't need that, because I always, don't get me wrong, but I think green stuff is like a lady to be treated. If you push her too hard, she will act up. But if you gently push her towards a certain direction you want her to move, it will behave nicely and work with you. So I think if you want a transition to work and it doesn't work, it doesn't blend well enough, you're pushing too hard. So you are sort of pushing a wave before you of green stuff, and therefore you will have sort of a lid or a ridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my thoughts.
That's a good explanation that you're pushing like a green stuff wave forward, because then it has that like bend on the edge.
Well, also like water helps make smoother blends. Lotion helps make really smooth blends.
Water I think only helps to make smoother blends if you're using epoxy sculpt or milliput, because they're slightly water soluble. Green stuff is not water soluble at all.
One thing I find helps for blending is just taking my finger, actually.
I've had success with that.
And like your finger isn't smooth; it's got fingerprints on it, right? It's got ridges, and then using that to kind of sometimes it's a honking big piece of something to try to get into crevices, but sometimes I find it does a really good job of smoothing if you can get it, if you can use it.
I use my finger when I'm doing larger stuff with epoxy sculpt all the time. It's a really useful
Like if
sculpting
you've got,
tool.
yeah, sorry. Somebody's asking about what putty would you recommend best for filling gaps?
Epoxy sculpt. So when Simon was saying that you can do green stuff and you can blend it into stuff really easily, I feel like epoxy sculpt is better for gap filling and better for smoothing into things because, like we kind of mentioned, epoxy sculpt is water soluble. So if you get some water in with it, like not a lot, just a little, you can create a kind of like slip. Craig, is that the right word for it? Is that the
I
right
thought it was
term?
silt.
Silt?
Yeah, slip.
I don't know if it's slip or silt. Yeah, like it kind of blends in with the water, and you can get it to like a finer finish when you're trying to blend it. When you're trying to not have like an edge between the putty and the model, but also for gap filling, I would say that epoxy sculpt is better just because it green stuff does this weird thing where it like when it sets, it kind of expands a little bit. So like if you fill a gap with it, you might
like a rubbery kind of bounce back.
Something, I don't know. I just know that like I've filled gaps with green stuff before and like they're totally smooth and then I come back and the green stuff is bulging out a little bit. That doesn't happen with epoxy sculpt. You've not had that?
Never had that.
Oh. Maybe I'm pushing the lady too hard.
Yeah, maybe you are. What I definitely would say that a reason for another pro for epoxy sculpt would be that green stuff has this what I used to call memory that it always will try to sort of get back into the shape it has been before. Therefore, it's easier to use for organic things. And epoxy sculpt, you can get really thin edges with, and it will stay that way. And therefore, I think that green stuff, therefore, epoxy sculpt makes more sense for gap filling.
Sorry, I just want to hop over to Mr. Pink. Now you're putting some fold. You can't see them very well right now, but you're putting some folds in the fabric there, Nick.
Yeah.
How did you decide to make them? Which way they're going to flow? Like, did you purposely make his little cape swing to the right so that you would have a reason to put folds going in a direction?
Well, I did do that because fabric is more interesting when it's going in a direction rather than just hanging straight down. And it gives you more to like do with it. And I took the direction from, now this is a unique case because he's already got a robe on. So I took the direction from this piece right here where there's like a bulge in his cloak or whatever here, and there's fabric falling away from it naturally this way, and there's fabric falling away from it naturally this way. So I'm following that curve this way. The only challenge is that back here there's another bulge in his cloak, and it's falling this way and then that way. But I've decided to like kind of overtake that and have this whole cloak go this way.
And so to make those folds, you were just pushing down the green stuff on either side of the where the fold in fabric would be highest, and you're down.
So you take, if this is a flat piece of green stuff, you get either a silicone shaper, a nice bullet one like this, if you are fortunate enough to have one, or you can use something like this. It's not as good, but you can. A ball burnisher tool, just make sure it's well lubricated. And then you just kind of do very light valleys between, when this is lubricated enough, it'll just slide through there. Light valleys like between where you want the folds. And in terms of folds here, I was directed by the fact that he's got this weird thing on his butt. It's got like these spikes coming out of it. And I figured that like maybe the fabric connects to the, maybe the fabric connects to the spikes, and I'm just like kind of following the scalloped parts down. Scalloped, is that the word for it? But yeah, with fabric, you need to put some kind of like folds into it. They don't have to be big, and do it more subtle. Because otherwise you've just got a big flat piece of green stuff and it won't look like fabric. It'll just look like whatever. But it's just like a light touch, and you're just kind of like painting it with your silicone shaper into the shape that you need it to be. The key thing with fabric is you want it to be smooth.
Another thing I wanted to get out is that Simon was saying that green stuff kind of has a memory to it, right? You do something and it kind of slowly creeps back to what it was before. But that's almost like it has a save state, right? And maybe that's the reason why green stuff is so like good to use, because you do something, you're like, oh, that wasn't very good. It slowly moves back to what it was before.
I think what he's describing is an elasticity. Like it has like an elasticity to it.
Like, right. But like you pull it and it kind of like creeps away from what you just did, and then you could be like, wait, did I want to do that? And it's saying like, no, you don't. And you're like, yeah, I did. Get back over there.
I don't know.
But if you make a mistake, you're like, I didn't really want to do that. It's like, it's okay. I don't want to do that either. I'm getting out of here.
I don't know. I think that's a fun story. I haven't really experienced this, but
all right. We have some questions. Oh, sorry.
Okay, yeah, I just said Brian Nesbitt said best advice ever. I hope I'm giving more than one advice this year, but I was wondering what was so important to him.
The lady comment.
Oh, okay.
Peter wants to know about sculpting really sticky out details. We could do it later. Spines or barbs so that they retain their sharpness but don't immediately break off. Would you reinforce it with like a wire in the putty?
Yes.
Or
yes, and I'd make it with plasticard.
Drill and glue in a wire first and then build over that?
No, anytime I'm doing a spine, I thought I did this on a video. I'll make it with plasticard. Okay. And then I put a layer of putty over it to like sculpt in the fine details I want. But
now, if sculpting over plasticard, do you need to rough it up to give the putty something to grip to, or it should be fine?
I don't.
I would do that.
It's smart, but I don't always do that.
It should usually grip to the edge you cut anyways. Or if you cut a triangle, it should be gripping on the edges of the triangle you cut out of the plasticard, not the flat, smooth surface, but should be enough. What do you do to get started putting putty on a wire? Mr. Pink, you did a video where you sculpted that Cthulhu beastie guy, and he was all just wire that you stuck to, right?
Yeah, so the problem with putting putty, that's a good question. The problem with putting putty on a wire is that it has a tendency to just like slip off. Because
it is so smooth, right?
Yeah, so you can do what Brother Pink just suggested, where you can rough up the wire with some like sandpaper or something if it has like a coating on it, or even just the metal of it. What I tend to do whenever I need to put putty on a wire is if I have enough like thickness to work with, I'll have the wire and then I'll put like a thin film of green stuff along the wire in like the rough shape that I want, and then green stuff sticks better to the dried green stuff than it does to the wire. So I'll let that set, and I'll come back and I'll put in like the actual detail in a subsequent layer of green stuff. What do you say, Hydra?
Yeah, I hate working on wire for that very reason. And funnily, I just had the most curious experience that I'm having sticking the green stuff here to wire just perfectly. And because for once I'm following my own advices, which is be gentle.
Can you give us the close-up, Hydra?
Of course.
Sorry.
No, that's good. I'm glad you're doing that, Craig.
It's Peg Leg Steve.
Is that? Do you see that?
Yeah, definitely.
So I have added a little another pocket to the back.
Yeah.
And the wood leg is finished.
You got some buttons on that top flap. That's really cool. Those are punched in details?
Yeah. Probably everyone has these. These are the glued in tube for plastic glue.
Yeah.
So I have a whole series of those. Like I have this one, and I have this one.
From a pencil?
Yeah. Pencil, and more different pencils, and tubes of different sizes. So yeah.
It's funny when you look at the world like, oh, I could take the tip off this pencil and make a sculpting tool out of it later. Like, who else does that?
That's how you have to.
I'm totally serious. I have bought pencils for this very own reason.
I've gone out searching searching for pens where I looked for the back of the pen that had a certain rounded tip that I wanted to make a missile out of. And you end up buying like 4 pens just to rip them apart just for one tiny aspect of them. Sorry, there are a lot of questions. Epoxy clay or epoxy sculpt? Do you have experience with both, and which one do you prefer and why?
Epoxy clay? With like epoxy clay?
Yeah. Epoxy clay and epoxy sculpt.
Hydra, have you played around with that epoxy clay I sent you yet?
I have not, but I found out the difference.
Yeah. Part of the reason I gave it to you is so you can
unthinkable.
teach me.
I have done the unthinkable and found out that it is the curing time. I think that's the difference. You can work on the clay for longer.
Yeah. Why is that the unthinkable?
But yeah, I have read the instructions.
Oh, gotcha.
Perfect. Meandering Shade has joined us, and he suggested for the wire, putting for the putty to bite onto, take super glue, put super glue on the wire, and then sprinkle bicarbonate or baking powder.
Smart. That is
So
smart.
then it kind of sticks, gets rough, and then you can glue to it.
Meandering Shade, welcome. Glad to see you here, and that is a really good suggestion. Yeah, because if you sprinkle... Hold on.
Sorry.
If you sprinkle baking soda on super glue, it sets immediately. And it makes like a kind of... Not a putty, but like a... It's a rough structure. It'll take it like it doesn't set. Well, it sets almost instantly, so you got to give it a bit to like solidify. But that's a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I want to note about sculpting robes when you're sculpting them on a model like this, when you're putting like the folds in it, you want them to be subtle. You don't want them to be like obvious, like pokey outy edges, because again, that won't look like fabric. So this edge was getting a little too pronounced along here, so I just went along it with the softly with the silicone shaper. You could also do it with like a spoon tool, just like softly kind of soften out that edge, so it doesn't look like it's a gap between two pieces of fabric. But that's a place where if you wanted to have like a multi-layered robe or cloak, you could lean into that, and you could take like a knife tool and you could cut along that stiff edge, and it would be like a separate piece of fabric overlaying the other one. The other thing I did was that I realized the bottom of the fabric was a bit too flat, so I just went in with the bullet shaper, and I just added some like, I don't know if you can even see that, some like soft valleys in there. But the main thing that I'm assuring is that I keep going in and I keep smoothing everything and making sure like the edge is not like have a weird shape to it. Like it's got to be like one smooth curve all the way down. Yeah. Questions?
Have you ever used spirits dissolved milliput on command?
No, I don't use milliput, so you can dissolve
You use
milliput with
spirits?
spirits?
Yes.
I guess like mineral spirits you use for like oil paints? I don't know, you're the artist, Hydra, you tell me.
Well, I just recently dipped into the adventure that oil paints are, and you receive the result of it. So the
the clue?
Say again?
The clue?
Yes, the clue.
Nice.
I have a raging clue.
You have what?
I have a raging clue. It's a South Park reference.
I don't know that one. Wait.
I just used for the very first time.
I feel like we didn't answer that question about epoxy clay. We just kind of talked around it. So,
Epoxy clay.
I'm really loving epoxy clay. I started using it recently. I reached out to people who make epoxy sculpt when I found out that they were following me, and I was like, "Hey, hi guys, how you doing?" And they sent me this like sampler pack, and I was really taken with epoxy clay for how hard it is. Like, for example, this guy's arms are epoxy clay. That's a wire in there with epoxy clay around it, and it works like epoxy sculpt, but it sets harder and it's a lot more like carvable. And I've used it as kind of like a substructure on big things that need to hold up well, like this arm, for example. It needs to be pretty strong. Oh, it's a little wobbly. That's not good. But on the dominatrix, like the big Tyranid structures I'm building, like arms, legs, stuff like that, I'm using the epoxy clay in there. I think I'm done with this robe. I think I'm going to put it down now before I do my standard thing and screw it up.
Cool. You want another suggestion?
Well, I was going to do a robe sticking out from a miniature.
Come on. Too much fabric.
Well, no, that's actually really
Probably
quick.
change.
That's really quick.
Mhm.
So this is like sticking in, like attached to a miniature, and you just kind of lay out the piece. Hydra's suggestion about like cutting it like a tailor would to the right size and then laying it on is a very good suggestion. Or you can just kind of like make a rough kind of rectangular shape in the area that you want. Yeah. And then for like, so that's clean fabric. And then like one thing that I love doing that is not difficult that people, like whenever people ask me about making cloaks and robes and stuff like that, is messy fabric. Actually, maybe I'll do this first. So this is a guy that I started, and what I did is I want a robe to be flowing out from him. Let's see if I have that sample photo. I can actually show you.
Is that an Artel miniature?
That is an Artel miniature that you bought for me. So thank you. One sec. Okay. What the hell?
Hydra, what are you working on right now?
I realized that I have mixed too much green stuff
Mm-hmm.
for what I wanted, and I just need to use the rest of the green stuff before I can start working on hair, and therefore I'm making fishes. Fishies.
Can we get a closer view?
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, you're seeing nothing there, right?
I see fishes.
Down lower. To work closer to your chest.
Cute.
There.
Oh, they're long and skinny.
They're long and skinny, and basically, I'm not having the head stick out, so I don't bother sculpting that.
Yeah.
I just used another of those nice pen tips, which I have actually filed off half of the round, so I just have a half circle. So that makes pretty cool scales.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's basically just punching those scales in and having those, I don't know what you call those things, at the end of the tail.
The fin? Or
Yeah, the fin, that's right. Just making those stripes in there. And so I am done with those. And they will go into this bucket, and there will be another drop of super glue in the bucket, so I can stick the head, the not sculpted head of the fish in there. Can you see that? Sort of.
Yeah,
right?
now I see the bucket.
Okay. So I'm doing some super glue in the bucket.
I like also the way you apply your super glue, that you stick it on a toothpick and then put it where you want it. That's really smart.
that's some next level stuff there.
It's a waste sort of, but since I buy that very cheap super glue from the dollar store, I have stopped caring. Before super glue was sort of holy to me, but ever since I found out that it can be so cheap, I use it on almost everything.
But like this way, you're not shooting an uncontrolled amount on a model. You're putting it in your beer bottle cap and then transferring as much as you need, not more than you need. That's smart.
The task is to keep up with those beer bottles, you know?
True.
So,
Sorry, there are a lot of comments I should go over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's saying that if you want to sculpt the head, GW, the skull kit, they're the perfect size to sculpt onto.
Oh, if you're sculpting a head from scratch?
That's a
Yeah.
Nicholas Trick.
That is a very good suggestion, Nicholas Treggy Joe. And that's a great suggestion if you have infinite time and you want to spend that time sculpting faces. I mean, you can do that, but I'm very much, if Games Workshop gives me a head, I'm going to use a head. And I'm not going to recreate that head if I don't have to. Oh, shit. Oh, this is getting sticky.
They're talking about smoothing using mineral spirits, isopropyl alcohol with milliput, using a Q-tip to kind of smooth it out. Peter Hansen put super glue on a Q-tip and started smoking once.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Why?
Chemistry is a mystery.
What, you don't teach chemistry at school? Come on.
No.
He teaches artist chemistry, it's a mystery, guys. Nobody knows why it works. We learned about why it works. No, you didn't.
Green grass!
So Mr. Pink, you're working on fabric now. You're going to give it that.
Yeah, I'm going to actually take a page out of the book of Hydra and hope I don't fuck anything up. And I'm going to put super glue on these wires. And then
Wait a minute. Where's your beer bottle cap?
I don't have a beer bottle cap. I just have a super glue that's really gross at the tip.
Ew.
I'm going to put some super glue on these wires so that it stays where it's supposed to stay. And hope I don't get any super glue on my silicone shaper, or else I'll have to ask Hydra to send me a new one. And I will blame him.
Did you put a texture on it already, or you're not doing it yet?
I did not put a texture on the green stuff yet.
Okay.
The green stuff is pretty much flat.
Yeah. How did you flatten it?
With my hands. I did not do the super intimate Hydra method. I got my fingers wet and I pinched it.
Okay.
Now,
you could also roll it between. Oh, it's very flat though.
It's very flat. I am very good at this.
You're quite a good pincher. Yeah.
I have pinched many logs in my time.
The brush on my GW super glue dried up.
Is a brush?
Oh yeah, I used to have that.
Is that an old one? Okay, so what you see is I've got this armature kind of like looping out from the miniature. I showed a picture earlier of what I'm aiming for. It's this amazing dude from the Homunculus Coven Codex. He's got that big long sword. And he's got his robe kind of flaring out. I don't know if my robe is long enough, but it's close. So I used Hydra's explanation of putting super glue on the armatures, the wire armatures underneath. And now I've got it kind of going out. And this is like a delicate process, and you don't want to put too much pressure on it, but you're basically using gravity to do your work for you. Hold on a sec, I gotta get this tucked in here. Where you've got those armatures to kind of hold it up, and it is the case that epoxy putty will sag. So this is not a perfect solution. If you want to do this, the easiest way to do this is to wait. Get your epoxy putty, mix it up, wait an hour, and then do this. Because it won't be as saggy after an hour. Which I guess I've kind of done. I mixed this up a while ago. And now...
But you didn't make your flat piece of fabric an hour ago. You just made it now.
Yeah, but this is the old mixed epoxy that I've been using for a while. If you want to do fabric, the older your epoxy sculpt is, the longer it's been since you mixed it, the easier it'll be, because it won't be as like flexible. You don't want it to be super flexible when you're doing fabric. Okay, now I just have to make sure all these wires are hit. Shit. This is not good. I should have put more super glue there. Okay, so I got like a rough shape of what I want. Right now I'm using a metal tool because I'm close to the edge and I don't want to use my silicone shaper because I know there's super glue there. Just trying to get it adhered to the wires, or like close to the wires, and kind of bring it down over the edge so you don't see the wire underneath there. So this is going to be an intact piece of fabric, but this is a really good way to make ripped up fabric and robes as well, where you do this and then you just kind of like rip it at the edges and you like rip it over the wire armature underneath.
And the green stuff gives it a cool rip texture when you do that?
Yes. Because if you've got green stuff in it, it'll tear and it'll stretch. If you use pure epoxy sculpt, that tears more easily than green stuff. So I wouldn't recommend that as much, but green stuff mixed with epoxy sculpt or pure green stuff works really well. So now what I'm going to do is I've got the flatness, and I'm going to kind of give it the dips in between, but you don't want to go crazy with it, because if you go too crazy, it'll look too ridgy.
Corvolaf says he's going to use this technique to make a flag for his Sons of Behemoth army with the armature underneath the...
That works.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other way to do this is to use plasticard. Like if you have plasticard and you have a heat gun, you can do this. And you can do what Hydra suggested where you cut out the exact shape of the thing you want and the exact size in plasticard, and then you use your heat gun to heat it up. But this works too with an armature. And with the armature, I got lazy and I only did like the 3 wires going out. You can be intense and you could have like thinner wires like going between them, and you could almost make like the weft of that you want of the fabric from like the grid that you make with your wire armatures underneath it.
Would you go back later once that fabric has dried and do underneath and to hide the wires?
You could. In fact, I might do that out this end because that wire is showing. It's also the case that the green stuff under here is not pretty. I took the gross side and I put it down. So yeah, you can go back after and kind of clean it up. But when you're doing this, it's just applying like selective amounts of pressure to get the kind of curve and bend you want in your fabric without making any lines too harsh. But when it's solid, you can kind of clean up the top surface.
Peter Hampton is talking about a product called Paper Shaper, which is used to set regular paper completely solid.
What?
And using that for making your cloth.
It's like
paper
a glue?
shaper. Never heard of it.
Like you get the paper wet? That's interesting. Tell us more.
It's probably just crazy glue. Oh yeah, paper shaper. Put this on your paper. It'll set really hard. This is crazy glue.
What is crazy glue? Is that
super glue?
Super glue.
Okay. Yeah. So that was. I'm not sure where I want to apply it, but there's. I would like to propose a different angle to Mr. Ping's wire armature.
Yeah.
I think on large scale models, it's important to have a wire, especially the size you're working on right now. That definitely needs wire. But I found that superglue can be used on.
You and your superglue all the time, man.
Yeah. I used to be the Nivea guy, and now I'm the superglue guy. So when I found that when you're talking about rough cloth,
yep,
that when you mix super green stuff with epoxy sculpt, you get a certain not sturdiness. It loses the
the rubberiness.
The rubber.
Yep.
Yeah, the rubberiness.
Yep.
And you can tear it. And what I really like are those torn edges.
Yes, I do this too.
For cloth.
Genius.
So what I'm going to do is, it's not planned, but I'll try it nonetheless. I will have this little zombie here, and he will be getting a flappy thing on his back. So I mix superglue with epoxy sculpt. Oh no, not
superglue.
Green
what?
Stuff. Okay. No. Green stuff with epoxy sculpt. It's getting late here, guys.
Right.
So I'm flattening that out. So rough shape. And sort of pulling it thin. And then I'm talked about tailoring. I'm sort of measuring how long it's supposed to be. So I need it to be roughly this shape, like going from here to there to there. So, and while I'm not cutting the green stuff, I'm pulling it apart. So I'm pulling it away, so it creates this rough edge.
Yep.
Yeah, bear with me. It takes a sec.
I've looked into Paper Shaper.
Mm-hmm.
VMS Paper Shaper. It's a clear liquid. You apply it to paper, and then you can make your like tarpaulins and fabrics and stuff. And then when it dries, you can just pop it off. it doesn't stick to whatever you shaped it to.
Interesting.
It's really cool. So, like, if you're making a tarpaulin over something, you can let it dry, pop it off, paint what's underneath the tarpaulin, snap it back on, and then paint the tarp.
Well, I was going to say that Hydra already invented this, and it's PVA glue and really thin tissue, like facial tissue.
Sorry.
But I'm wondering. That's really cool. I'm gonna try that. One thing I've done is
well, you're all about the paper clays, so.
Well, I've taken wet wipes, and some of them have a really cool texture punched into them already.
Oh, I've seen people paint with this.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of getting maybe some paper shaper, using that to make my tarpaulin a little bit. I was gonna use just white glue and water, but maybe this is better. Because the one problem with white glue and water is it's water soluble still, right? You get it wet again, it's gonna soften up.
What? No. Once it hardens, it's not water soluble again.
White glue?
Yeah.
It depends on the kind you use.
Oh.
Okay.
So now here comes the trick. I have my roughly the shape of the fabric I want with torn edges. And as you might have seen, I've applied some some super glue. I am getting mixed up with those two today. I'm sorry for that. So I applied super glue to the areas I want the cloth to be fixed. So which would be here in this case, right under its belly. So I'm sticking the green stuff with the sculpting tool to the thing. So when you hold it down now, it simply falls flat, and we don't want to have that, right? We want it to be curvy and flappy and wild and stuff. And therefore, I'm using my nice silicone rubber thing and give it shape by pushing below it, or you can use your fingers by creating folds. So I'm not very precise here, but I'm doing it so you get the idea of what I'm at. So when you have it that way, and you would keep it up straight and let it cure, you could either place the model that way and let the gravity do the job for you.
Can you get a little closer, Hydra? We can't really see it that well.
Give me a sec.
Boy, are you still there?
Using gravity to let the fabric hang the
Yeah.
way you want it to flow.
Why is my focus not working?
Because it knows you want it. Come on. It's playing hard to get.
Yeah.
You can't push that lady.
Oh, something's lagging. Is it me?
It's out of focus for us.
Damn it. So my YouTube is lagging, and my...
Oh, right. You can't see what we're seeing. Try it again. Yep, that's better. Yep, now we can see it.
Oh, yeah.
So I have it now this way. But if I wanted to keep working on the model, the whole thing would fall down again, right? So what I'm doing is I'm pushing it into the shape I want it to float. And then I turn it upside down. And, forgot to make that. I take a piece of wire and where are my clippers? Wire. Preparation is everything. And make a loop like this. You can see that, right?
Yep.
Filling up my super glue deposit. Dipping
your camera dropped.
Oh, why is your camera off?
There
It's back.
Oh.
Okay. Good. Dipping my wire loop into my super glue deposit, holding the model upside down, and then applying a thin coat of superglue on the inside of the coat.
Oh my god.
And
This is next
and
level.
the superglue will react quite immediately with the fat and whatever is on the green stuff.
The oil?
The oil, whatever. And
Just so people aren't taking bacon and rubbing it on
midichlorians.
the midichlorians,
Yeah.
Mr. Pink, there's a question about venom cannons. I wonder if you could answer it,
Yeah.
Peter Hampson. Non-sculpting question: was the 3rd edition venom cannon sculpt ever available in metal? I swear the
No.
cannon on the facts of Tyrant in some shots in my 3rd edition codex.
Well,
did
in the
didn't
codex is
High
different.
Tyrant from 2nd edition have a metal venom cannon?
Yeah, but he's talking about the one that showed up on the Monstrous Creature sprue. And I don't know if that was ever available in metal, but if you see it in your codex, it could be that they printed it in metal for those miniatures. That's not necessarily an indication that it was an actual model that we could buy. Because sometimes they'll do that. They'll like cast a miniature in resin instead of casting it in plastic because it's faster and they can do the mold while they're like taking pictures for the codex.
so, as you might be able to see, I have coated the inside of the flappy thing here with green stuff, and now
Super glue.
Glue.
with super glue. Yeah, sorry.
It's late.
And now it's keeping its shape. Well, you can still bend it a bit.
What? Okay, I should do that to mine because I want mine to like keep this shape.
But do you have the beer caps?
I don't have the beer caps. I have my ugly ass super glue. Damn, that's smart.
And
Because I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much happy with this now. I don't want to mess with it more because I worry it's going to fall apart.
Well, Mr. Pink, what would be the next thing you tackle then? Would you like some suggestions?
Well, I have this shitty epoxy, and I want to show people how I make ratty cloaks.
Fine.
Well, we're like on a roll here. Oh shit!
I know, but it's been all of these.
So what I'm thinking,
backpacks,
I'm
covers and assless
Hold,
chaps.
shut up with your assless chaps. Okay, so there's a lot of people here, which is good, and they're asking a lot of good questions, and I'm enjoying this. And Hydra, are you enjoying yourself?
yes, I do.
So what I'm thinking is that maybe we have kind of like a theme. Like we stick with like fabrics and like textiles and stuff like that for this one. And then we do another one of these where we do like humans. And then that'll be hair, that'll be hands, maybe faces if we feel like hurting ourselves.
Nope. Too bad. I was just about to sculpt hair.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Give us more fabric.
Why? Hair is typically a fabric.
Okay, so how am I going to do this? I've got Ziggy the zombie here. And I'm thinking of... Wait, who should I do this to? This guy? I want to give someone a ratty cloak. This guy?
Give this on. The first guy was a good candidate.
Okay. Oh, shit. Yeah, and then we could do, like, hoods, because we haven't done that. I've done hoods before, but I guess people haven't seen that video, so...
Do them again.
They're really easy.
Is Hydra going to do hair, or he gave up on the hair?
Let's...
I can do. I was just waiting on you guys to make a decision because I would love to do it because I actually wanted to get those guys finished.
I want to save it for next time, and then we can focus on human stuff. So we can tell people. We can be like, this time we're sculpting human things. What human things do you want us to sculpt? You don't think that's a good idea, boy?
Okay.
It's going right now. You could just do it.
Okay,
and
just
you could
do
a
it.
human themed one later.
Do your fucking hair. I don't care.
Because then we can see how
Oh.
Mr. Pink would sculpt hair.
What?
We can see how you would do it differently.
So
Okay.
what else is on the list? What else
Oh.
would we have to tackle?
Oh, pouches. That was one I thought you would be able to really good at, Simon.
Oh yeah, that's quick. Pouches
Pockets-
is
pockets
small
or
bags
pouches.
you're hanging.
Yeah, small bags.
Small bags you're
Uh,
hanging to your.
Another one that would be right up Simon's alley would be chainmail, maybe.
No.
Sleeves.
He hates chainmail.
Okay, forget that. Sleeves.
Fucking
Rolled up
sleeve.
sleeves. No.
Yeah, I read that. I can do that.
Oh, what about assless chaps?
Mhm. Okay, so give me a sec, because pouches. So to get my English straight, pouches are small bags you are hanging to your belt.
Yep. Or from
there's
like
nothing-
the horse, or from like a.
Okay, here's the easiest pouch
Fuck.
pouch recipe. You can ever since I did the first pouch, I threw away all those bits I have spare.
Oh, for
because
pouches?
because I feel that those pouches are always kind of sticking from the model and never like really hanging down from them.
Yep.
So what you basically do is I'm just preparing this so I can bring it up to the camera. Or maybe I can bring the camera down. How about that? How is this? Oh, there we are. Oh, it's not very bright, right? Where's my camera? Sorry.
Oh, one
my
thing I
camera
wanted to
just
note.
turned off.
I can see it. One thing I wanted to note, if you're doing this kind of like away from the body cloak stuff, I forgot you have access to the cloak underneath, so you can kind of like lift it up at points if you want to like stick out more. I was having an issue with that, and I just realized I can fix it from below.
Okay.
You having trouble with your camera still?
I think I have sort of figured it out.
You just need to focus.
We can
Yeah.
see you, but it's not in focus. Yeah.
I'm trying to, for reasons I cannot explain. Oh, there we are.
Perfect. Ish.
Yeah, it was.
You're good now.
feedback.
You're good.
Okay. So what I have is I have my a tip of my of a nail, like sanded round and glued to old brush. And I have a drop of superglue, and I have tear-shaped green stuff blobs, and I just need to decide where to place the pouch. So, and I'm placing a small drop of superglue just below the belt, and I pick up the pouch at the top of the tip, of the tear-shaped tip, with my tool, and place it with a tip right there onto the superglue, and it immediately sets and keeps it just up there. And when I hold the model upside down, no, not upside down, like straight, I can smooth down the pouch gently, and that way it will hang in a very natural way downwards. And then I just squeeze the green stuff tightly in the area where it connects to the belt, so it gets this this typical folds up there. Gently pulling it downwards.
Sorry, when you attached it, you pushed that smoothed out nail. You pushed it, and you made kind of an indent in that teardrop right when you attached it, and that looked really natural too.
Yeah. And then I take a small ball of green stuff, and I take another drop of superglue and apply it to the tip where the pouch connects to the belt again, like onto the fresh green stuff. And I pick up the green stuff blob with my tool, like this, and then I squeeze it right there, so it looks like this. You can see that?
That's the opening in the pouch.
Exactly, and then I'm flattening a bit downwards, because the pouch would hang down, like that. And then I give it a rectangle shape, a triangle shape, by gently pushing from upwards onto it. And
That's
then
great.
basically it. And that have been, what, 2 minutes?
Mm.
And I can repeat that and give the dude like a whole bunch of pouches. As he supposed to be a beggar dude or a not very rich dude, he apparently lost his leg. He's not having that many pouches, but there's still room for one more, a slightly larger one in the back. Again, small drop of super glue, some pushing in, and it's not very teardrop shaped, so I'm pushing it upwards a little. Giving it some weird dents, so it looks a little bit boxy, so you don't really know what's in the pouch. And my green stuff, small green stuff ball to make the pouch's opening. Again, making a ball, placing a drop of super glue, ball up, and placing it up there. Whoop, 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 whoop. This is more a closed one. But there you go. 2 pouches.
Amazing. I think he's a pretty fancy beggar man. He's got a backpack, he's got pouches, he's like top tier beggar.
He's the rich man from the beggars.
Yeah. Like, look at that beggar, he's got a backpack and everything.
So, okay, not caring for what Mr. Jones won, but he's going to get a beard now.
Damn
right
it.
now.
Ruin everything.
Beard
Yeah.
is the perfect middle ground between hair and fabric.
Fabric for your face!
That's right.
So I have been messing with my kind of ratty cloak approach, which is literally stretching green stuff over a model and then just tearing it downwards. And you get these kind of like ratty bits. I stole something from Simon in that I put some super glue on the places where I wanted the cloak to stay and not move. Yeah, actually, I'm doing... Hold on. I'm pretty much sculpting at this distance, so let's do it at this distance. So yeah, just like I got a thin bit of green stuff, flattened it out, draped it over this guy's head, and now I've just been going with my this kind of pokey tool, but you can use like a knife tool or anything, and just kind of like hooking the green stuff and just like ripping it down. And I'm gonna go and kind of like clean up the pleats later, but I just want to get like the rough shape of this like crappy shawl that he's wearing. And when you got bits hanging down like this, if you're careful with them, if you let them dry, the green stuff will maintain. That
Why not apply some crazy glue?
Well, I guess you could do that. But actually, one thing that I forgot is that crazy glue causes green stuff to pucker. So I put crazy glue on the bottom of this, and it's already starting to like pucker in weird ways, which is something to be aware of. Here it's okay, but here it's getting messy because I think it was too thin there. So I can go over after and kind of like clean this up and get like a better texture on it. But just be aware of that. Like, I didn't want this to sag too much, but it's actually the green stuff is pulling it up higher than I wanted. So be aware that someone once told me that you can sculpt nipples in green stuff by putting a disc of green stuff on something and then putting a drop of super glue on it, and it like makes the super glue pucker like a nipple. So yeah.
We'll use that for the natural skin episode.
The nipple episode?
Yeah, the nipple episode.
Okay.
You might have to find someone else for that, though.
Okay.
Why? You don't want to sculpt nipples?
I don't want to sculpt faces or anything proportionally right.
Well, like a hand, you can do that.
No.
Musculature?
Would you be able to do a face if it wasn't in 40K scale, if it was a bigger scale?
The last faces I sculpted are looking like that.
Okay.
I think you can do it. I have
Like-
faith in you.
The suggestion I had was sculpt a hand, and I don't think you should ever try to sculpt the hand in
Yeah.
28 or whatever millimeter scale.
Yeah.
But like just how you would sculpt a hand, maybe half the size of your own hand.
No, I would want to do that because like I sculpt hands for like Tyranid size things all the time.
And you can just, once you see how it's done on a bigature, you can just hopefully figure out how to do it smaller.
Did you just say bigature?
Yeah.
I love that.
Big miniature.
I love that. It's like a minute. It's like a armature but big, a bigature.
Uh-huh.
Okay, this is getting a bit messy back here, but
I may have to disappear at some time.
oh no. Well, Simon's got to go to bed at some time.
I don't think the kid's up yet, but when he is, I'm currently hunkered down in the bathroom, so
Okay.
What?
they're
Hiding.
gonna find me eventually.
Did you tell the world that we managed to get 3 different time zones working?
No, I should have said that.
True.
So now that I've got my like
It's-
cloak torn in the way that I want, the shawl, I'm going in with a silicone shaper to put like pleats in it, just kind of following the rips that I've done up into the rest of it. But the key thing is if you're using a silicone shaper, I put superglue on this model, so don't get near the superglue.
Now, for a zombie, that shawl is actually quite fetching.
Thank you. I guess I could try to put more
I-
holes in it, but
As the time zone talk popped up, what time is it in Germany right now, Simon?
We got 11 at night.
11 at night. It is 7 a.m. here in Japan.
and it is 5 p.m. here.
Wow.
So again, I think it's pretty amazing that we have the ability to get 3 different time zones.
Well, you know why? It's
Uh,
because Craig's willing to get up at 5 a.m. to do this with us.
Yeah.
I think what's
That's-
amazing is that we have we each have an understanding partner that allows us to do this.
Yep.
And you make a hair, right?
Me?
Oh, a beard. You're making a beard, a head beard.
A head beard, as opposed to a
Yeah,
what beard?
He got it. He got a beard, and he's now getting a cap.
Okay, that's fabric.
Yeah. I'm just, smearing
Crimson
down a blob
Badger
of
has joined.
Ooh.
Who? Crimson Badger?
Hello, Crimson Badger.
Eric Weir is there.
Eric Weir, welcome, buddy. Yeah, well, that's the
So
other
what's in
thing.
the
Like,
chat?
let's ask the
What's in
chat
the
where
chat?
they are.
Nothing.
Folks in the
Nothing
chat,
in
tell
the
us where
chat.
you are. Tell us what your
That's not
time
true.
zone.
I'm just ignoring difficult questions. Crafting Troll says, if you're going to stick to fabric, do you have a good trick for sculpting fancy stitching? I will be sculpting a troll princess dress, and it needs some fancy lettering symbols on the edge, etc.
Oh my god, I've never done that. Hydra?
Fancy dress? Like, come on. What hobby are you in, man? Sorry.
She's a troll
It's
princess.
I know, but like, how often do princesses pop up in this hobby? Not that often, and they should. They need more representation.
Oh, that was interesting. Sorry.
That is, like, wow, I never thought about that. Simon, have you ever made a princess model?
No, but I try to mimic, texture or, I don't know what that's the correct translation for that.
Give
You
us some
can häkeln.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, we got Germans in the chat. They can tell us.
Yeah. So I think it's what he wants is that some fancy
Stitching?
areas. Stitching is when you sew onto something, right?
Yeah.
So if there's a pattern stitched in there, what I did was those curly whirly things at the end of, for example, an arm or
Like
pants.
Yeah. Crochet? Filigree? I don't know.
I don't know, but
Embroidery.
I would I would drapery maybe. I would basically so my advice would be basically you want to have basically a piece of cloth that looks different from the rest, so make it stand out a bit, and go for go with a very sharp needle, and maybe I can mimic it up here so you can see it. So my fingers, look at my dry fingers. I have no idea what they're so dry. So just basically very gently poke the green stuff, and then poke holes in between. That might be an interesting pattern. Another pattern might be just poking the green stuff and pulling a bit downward so you can get a loop of some sort. And then placing the next row next to it. I don't know, is that showing?
Yeah.
Sort of.
We didn't really see your first pattern, but this one is showing up a little bit.
Okay, so that's one, that might be one approach. And this is the other approach.
Just little dots. Oh,
Yeah,
for instance, I also think on the edges, on the sleeves, you'd have that kind of wavy whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So making a thin band of green stuff, pinching it, or so it's wavy, and then using super glue. Oh, it's 12 a.m. in Ukraine. It says Alexander Radchuk.
That's pretty amazing that we have people from Ukraine watching, and
Yeah, I want to know where people are watching from. Let us know in the chat. Hook it up.
Tom Wilson joined. Flynnhammer. My female giant will now be a princess giant. Everybody wants to make princesses. Shit, I should have said.
Good work.
Corbalas is in Western Canada. He's mutilating a mechanical pencil to make small stitches.
nice.
UK. Netherlands. Ooh, Netherlands. UK.
Where did all the Germans go?
Sweden.
Yeah, they were Germans.
There were?
Kajan's normally here. He's a German.
It's not here today.
He was commenting on my
Belgium.
post.
Monoch was here.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah,
and he was like, maybe.
Yeah, but he was looking for beer, so I think he left.
Distracted by the beer. Such a German.
When you can come back and watch it on YouTube anytime,
Yeah, you're
that's
right.
kind of nice, right?
Yeah.
Seattle area in Washington.
Nice.
Spooky ass Bone Man.
Oh, Spooky as Bone Man. Nice.
Oh, Kajan. Symbio Joe is from Germany.
Yes.
There you go.
You know, it's not here from Bob. What's that guy's name?
Bob? Darth Bob.
Bob.
Darth
Yeah.
Bob. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he's working.
Maybe he's working.
Yeah, David Hills isn't here either, right?
True.
But he's got kids, so who knows? Yeah, I think the real miracle is that you both have kids and you're actually on the stream. I do not have kids.
By. I have to crash. Oh, Crimson Badgers leave.
Bye,
Please
Crimson
have
Badger. Thanks for being here, man.
Goodbye.
I really like your ratty cloak. Now you're poking little holes in it, Mr. Pink.
Yeah, I was getting some holes in there.
I like those holes.
To make it look more ratty.
Let's follow along as you make another hole. The holes really do make it look ratty.
Suggestion?
Yes.
How about taking a needle?
Yeah.
Oh, shut up with your needle talk. Tough guy with his better tools.
Holes.
Okay, here's your needle. I got your bloody needle right here.
Nice.
Lucky we're on the internet. I'd shove it right where the sun don't shine.
Nice. Yeah, that's how I like it. Okay, since you're doing holes, I'm doing some holes as well. Oh,
On your princess?
I think the important. Say again.
On your
No,
princess?
not princess.
Oh, you know who did a princess? 10 out of 7. One of his
Yeah.
he does his crazy kit bash prompts, and one of them was an imperial princess self-portrait or something.
Okay.
It was really good. It was like painting a portrait, and she's supposed to be painting a portrait of like this imperial agent or imperial like general beside her, but she starts painting a portrait of herself.
Sorry to stand you corrected, but it was a chaos lady, remembrancer Slaneshi lady.
What? No, I thought it was a imperial princess. Oh no, it's imperial princess who's cheating at cards. That's the imperial princess one.
Okay.
Okay, Nicholas Trigadiccio is working on a Necromunda gang for Zone Secundas. Nicholas, which gang are you working on? Symbio Joe is working on Gazgolf Mad Earth Thraka. Atelier is working on a Lich bust. That's kind of a princess. Currently just lying on bed watching the stream. That's okay, man. No judgment.
Who dat?
Been painting mushrooms all day. Not surprised, crafting troll. I wanted to work on. I've got this crazy thing going right now. I bought this cardboard model that you kind of put these sheets of cardboard together and it makes a dinosaur.
Whoa. For the kid?
It's like remember those laser cut wood that make a dinosaur skeleton? It's kind of like that, but it's not a skeleton.
Yo, I'm pretty sure those weren't laser cut. I think those were like jigsaw cut. That was back in the day.
But this is laser cut cardboard, and it'll give you like a relief.
Yep.
It'll kind of be like that of the dinosaur. So I'm gonna make that, and then put paper clay on that to make a big ass Necromunda swamp crocodile. But
nice.
One thing I have to do is use a bunch of green stuff on the mouth to kind of make the teeth look proper and make the tongue look proper. So it's taken forever. It's really, really, really hard. That's what I wanted to work on today, but I'm in the bathroom.
Take it to the bathroom.
More questions. Flinthammer's doing a Mega Gargant. Brian Naisbitt, my life is rolling green stuff cables nonstop for biomech demons at the minute. When Hydra gets too close to the camera, it shuts off.
Oh, weird.
Oh.
You're too hot.
Yeah.
Tom is in a hobby rut and can't bring himself to do anything even though he wants to.
No, that's sad.
Peter Hampton is currently pondering what to arm his 3rd edition Hive Tyrant with. He's going to be a Tyrant Prime, kind of want to ape Pink's Prime with the Biofist and a great bone sword to represent a pair of bone swords.
Nice. I endorse that, obviously.
He's working off the 3rd edition Hive Tyrant.
That's
the
the Queen one.
Alien-y one?
Yeah, it's the Alien Queen one.
One thing I'd say for that guy is change his mouth.
Yeah.
Get rid of the teeth and kind of do something different with the mouth. The head crest is cool. The eyes are cool. The mouth is just mega toothy grin.
Yeah. Go for mandibles.
Yeah. I like making it so his mouth is almost even gone. Where like it's like his mouth is fused shut and just like.
Or it's wide open and it's just mandibles. Like there's no teeth. It's just a big eating hole with some mandibles in it.
Yeah.
I think that one might look good with wings, though. Because Forge World made one very similar that had wings.
I think the Tyranid design is way too close to human physiognomy.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, making it different is, in my book, always the best approach. Like, go away from... It has an upper and a lower jaw.
Oh, maybe some of those dangly tentacle mouth.
Yeah, but like tentacles, like Cthulhu is
Feeder tentacles.
As much as I like him.
I was gonna say
the concept is like being butchered to pieces.
Jacob Foster is painting Skaven. It's the first time I've hobbied since I was in my accident. Kind of hard because my shoulder won't. Jacob Foster. You know what you need for that shoulder? Some beer.
Okay, I think I'm done with my gross shell.
It's beautiful. Well, he's a pretty princess. He's a zombie princess.
Zombie princess.
Nice.
So just tear some green stuff, go in there with a silicone shaper after, and put in some like pleats. Get a pin and poke some holes. There we go. Pretty zombie princess. Okay, what else can I sculpt? I got some putty.
I'll bring up the list, see if there's any fabricy things we can suggest. Sleeves, rolled up sleeves.
Oh god, I didn't really want to do that. Rolled up sleeves.
You want to do fabric. You want this to be the fabric
Okay,
episode.
sure, yeah, okay. Who needs some rolled up sleeves?
Where does fire...
Oh wait, no! I need to do like a real hood.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so I got this guy, who's like a funky like Blood Bowl dude, and
Wow, very funky.
I put a mask on him from the Sisters of Cain. Hoods are the easiest thing you could possibly sculpt, especially if you want like a clean hood. So just get a ball of green stuff. That's probably too much. Don't want too much because, as Brother Pink said, you don't want a big fat hood. And you put the ball of green stuff on the miniature's head. Like
You're not going to flatten out a piece of fabric first? Oh, this is underneath the fabric.
What? No, this is the hood. This is how you do hoods.
Okay.
It's so easy.
All right.
So you put a ball of green stuff on the miniature's head. And then you just get a smooth tool, lube it up, and you start smoothing that ball of green stuff down either side of that miniature's head.
Oh, sorry. Jacob Foster cannot drink.
Oh, it's too bad.
He doesn't know if he can drink. He hasn't been to the urologist. TMI. But he wants to drink real bad.
Oh, that sucks. So yeah, you take the blob and you kind of smooth it down both sides to make the like a... Oh shit, I'm not on camera. Let me know when I'm not on camera. Hold on. Let's make this smaller or closer. Extreme closer.
Jacob Foster, are you a smoker? Maybe have a cigarette to steady those nerves.
Oh my god, why are you advocating substance
Sorry.
abuse to deal with this issue?
I get
You are
shaped
shitty
up
at this
when I'm
game.
painting, mainly because I drink too much coffee, but
When you get too much shakes, I think the first thing to do is
Sleep?
check if you're resting your hands properly,
Ah.
because
Mm.
I'm trying always to keep as much of my hands resting as
Right.
possible and just moving as little as possible. Therefore, with that, in that way, I have the most of control of what my fingers are doing, and the fewer parts of my body I move, the fewer can shake.
Jacob Foster saying maybe a cup of coffee. Jacob Foster, my biggest problem is coffee. I have a coffee in the morning, and then I can't paint for the next 6 hours because it makes me shake like mad.
Really?
And then
Wow.
yesterday I was like, okay, no cup of coffee this morning. I'm going to paint. I don't have any coffee. I get super tired when it comes time to paint, and I just have a nap instead. So I only said, but Hydra, what did you do there? That is really, really interesting. That you took one piece and draped it over the shoulders. You cut that piece so that it was very thin, where it was up at his shoulder, and thick on either end, and then fold it. That's really cool.
Yeah, I just figured we're doing, cloth to please the almighty Mr. Pink.
Oh my god, shut up. I'm trying
Did
to
you
focus.
use crazy glue to stick it down?
No, not this time, because I'm trying to work quick. So I wanted to be a vest because he had this ugly chainmail on, and I wanted to be connected like somewhere down here. Just pulling the green stuff over, so I sort of have something. So yeah, I basically used what I used before, my epoxy Sculpt green stuff mix. It's still good. I just see that I have this weird hair sticking out up there.
God, I hate the little hairs.
On what?
On my miniatures.
Oh no, I think it's actually in the miniature.
Oh.
Yeah.
I get like,
It
I
was
don't know,
part
I
of
think
the
it's off
match.
the back of my hand or something because of the putty. I don't know, I get like little black hairs showing up.
Jacob Foster can paint while having one cup of coffee. That's insane to me. I can
Yeah.
like model if I've had a million cup of coffee. I can do great modeling, but I cannot paint. For the life of me. I just realized though the thing I should do is just paint really early in the day, like get up at 5 a.m. and just paint.
You know, when I did my last big rush on Games Day models, as Mr. Pink can attest,
Good Lord.
I'm good at doing things at the last minute.
Uh-huh.
I realized something that if you work for a couple of days on your miniatures, and here you see that it has been long ago because I didn't have that time again ever. But I worked on my Golden Demon entries for a whole week straight because I didn't have time before because of university. So what I did was I just worked on them day in, day out, from morning till the night. And what I realized was that at about 1 in the night, the shakes started to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And they left me at about 3 in the morning. So for 2 hours, I had to do like dry brushing and rough work. And at 3 in the morning, they were gone, and I could have my steady hand back again.
So 3 in the morning, Boyle, there's your answer.
Got it.
No, you just have to work through that time.
Jacob Foster saying also eat enough so that or else you can't hold anything. Tom Wilson has 2 cats, so they contribute to the amount of hairs stuck on his models.
Yeah.
Atelier
Nice.
AG is shaking because it's 10 degrees below Celsius in his workshop.
No, that's not good, buddy.
I've discovered though that the downstairs bathroom could be a really good hobby space at 5 a.m.
Wouldn't it be very cold?
It's not cold at all.
Your downstairs bathroom isn't cold? Wow, that's like Japanese
Right.
technology. The downstairs bathroom is usually the frigid one.
But it's just connected to the Gencon, and our Gencon has really good in-floor heating.
Oh, okay. I
Which
was going to
actually,
say, my
I'm gonna-
Gencon was
I'm
always
gonna
frozen.
run around and turn on the heat. I'll be back in a second.
Sure. So what I'm doing here is I brought the hood down. This is complicated because he's got these horns. So I'm kind of like having the hood come down kind of to a peak between the horns. I guess this is a pointy hood at the front. And then it's just like bringing the excess green stuff down around the jowls area, like the jaw area, so that you can do the bottom, like where the hood kind of like the fabric flares out from the weight of it. So I'm trying to keep it thin. I don't want to make the hood too fat, like Brother Pink mentioned. Yeah, but you want to start your green stuff up here on top of his head, and you want to bleed it down to like here, like right at his jaws, so that then you can have like maximum green stuff here to shape the bottom part of the cloak or of the hood. And just make sure that you clean up like the inside of the hood. This is an elf miniature, so it's got really pointy ears, which I didn't account for.
He's doing elves.
It's a blood elf. She's hardcore. Well, he's hardcore. I don't know. He's confused. Yeah, so then you get like this kind of like fold at the bottom, and then that's where you can like tuck it in under the chin. You like redistribute that green stuff at the bottom to get in that thing where like the hood comes together at the bottom. I don't know if I have enough green stuff. You can always just keep trying to pull from the back. You want to just get this area around the face good, and then you can always add green stuff to the back later to get more of like a hood shape.
I have
Okay.
returned.
Welcome back.
Nice.
Sorry, Mr. Pink, randomly, did you know that CBD is legal in Japan?
Fuck you. I do not believe you.
It cannot contain any THC, but they sell it. You can buy it in Japan.
Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I was
Well,
like,
that's good. CBD is important.
they've taken all the fun out of it, but yeah,
Well, CBD has still got like valuable effects
it's
even
the
without
most
THC.
valuable thing. Yeah,
Yeah, like they do it to treat kids with like epilepsy and stuff, I think.
right. My coworker was saying though that it could be just the fact that Japan is always so like
they have to criminalize each individual thing as it comes up, and it might just be that they haven't gotten to it yet. Right? They criminalized THC. That is criminal, but maybe like when he first got here, shrooms were still legal and you could buy them in stores.
What?
Yeah, 15 years ago, you could just buy them in a store.
And now they're not?
Now they're illegal.
They just didn't realize? They're like, oh, mushrooms. We love mushrooms. Yeah, man. Toss them in a nabe.
Oh, what are those mushrooms? Let me try those. Oh, those are really good.
Yo, did you hear about this guy? He made a magic mushroom tea. He injected it into his veins. He gave himself a fungal infection. Like he had like multiple organ shutdown because he injected fungus into his veins.
Ew.
Yeah.
How stupid can one person be?
Yes. Sorry, what was that, Brother Pink?
Nurgle's happy.
Yep, Nurgle is happy. Slash the cordyceps cult.
The thing I like, yeah. How's it going on your hood there?
Oh shit! I just realized I poked a hole through here. It's getting too thin, so I'll have to fix that later. I think it's okay. It's more challenging on this guy because he's got like a weird horn situation, but I think it's pretty good. I can go clean it up after, but that's like the rough thing. You start with a blob on the back of the head, and you kind of like pull it down towards the front, and it's enough to get the kind of like jowl hood area. And then you tuck it in under the chin. You can go, and what I usually do is I make it more A-shaped by like pushing in at the sides here, so that it's not like flaring out. And then put the weight down here.
Jacob Foster wants to try ayahuasca.
Oh, I had a friend who tried that.
Not Whoppington, but that's the one that it's a cactus.
I don't know if it's a cactus. It's like South America. You go and they make you like a tea.
No, the cactus is something different.
I had a friend who did it and wanted to have like this big, like intense experience that like showed him what to do with his life, and it didn't work out.
Oh no,
he didn't get what he was looking for.
What did happen?
He got like a little bit high, but like apparently he's like immune to ayahuasca.
Oh shit.
So he said that he might go to like another retreat, and they're like, well, if you're immune to this, you could go try this other like stronger version that they do at this other retreat, but he hasn't done it yet.
I think though when you're coming at it with this like I want to know what to do with my life, you're bringing all this anxiety with you, and that could just kind of kill it.
Agreed. I fully agree. Like I think it's probably better if you just go into it with an open mind and see what you see.
Mm-hmm.
Never ask questions you're not right to receive the answer for.
Right. Yeah, ayahuasca is a mix of leaf and a vine. Yeah, I think it's out of like the Amazon rainforest. These two random plants. You have to mix these two random plants, and then it does something.
Oh, I didn't know it was that. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like green stuff. You mix those two random yellow and blue, and suddenly
magic happens.
The magic happens, exactly.
Coyote is the cactus one.
There you go.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Now, kids, have you learned enough about sculpting? How about doing drugs?
Peter Hansen says he totally stays clear of drugs. I do. Like in Japan, I will. If I smell marijuana, I will go straight to a police station and report it. I am so.
Really?
Okay,
that's a bit hardcore. Like smelling marijuana and then running away is one thing, but like smelling marijuana and then reporting it to the fuzz, that's.
Yeah, but at the same time, they could say, "Hey, we did see that white guy running away. Maybe it was him." And it's like I'm just so paranoid in Japan. I don't want to be involved in that whatsoever.
Well,
I don't want
because
to assume that I'm involved in that.
Necessary context is that drugs are really illegal in Japan, like super illegal. And if you're a foreigner, they're gonna think you're doing drugs.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, there's my like random hood. That didn't turn out quite as nicely as I thought it would. I'd have to go clean it up a bit, but I hope you get the idea. I did it on a stream as well.
Onwards and upwards, Mr. Pink. Onwards and upwards. Stitching. You've done that on the stream before too. Sleeves. Yeah. Rolled up sleeves.
Fuck, why with the sleeve? Why sleeves?
Okay, I got some fresh green stuff. It was suggested on the on the, what do you say?
Chat? What?
No, on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I just need to finish this beard, and then I'm up for some sleeves.
Okay.
Because
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, sleeves.
What
Do you
about
want to give Mr. Pink a task?
fur?
What?
Fur?
Fur. Okay. I've never done fur, but I've seen other people do it. Oh, I gotta show Peter Hampson's thing. Psychedelics. Oh, wait, that's the wrong
Computer
way.
Joe says, well, ananas flavor is made from 2 very toxic chemicals. I know what an ananas is. You call it pineapple.
Apparently the whole rest of the world is, they call it ananas, and we're like the only people who call it pineapple.
Oh, pineapple. I like
Like-
ananas.
Every other language calls it ananas.
No. Japan calls it pineapple.
Yeah, because they're, Western influence.
Pineapple.
Pineapple!
Okay.
I like
So,
that.
rolled up sleeves.
Potatoes ground apples.
What?
I like the French call potatoes ground apples.
Oh, yeah.
So, trying my best with rolled up sleeves here. So
Okay.
we always start with the almighty sausage. And
Why is the German advocating the almighty sausage? You're a parody of
Yeah.
yourself,
Like
good sir.
Sausage.
You're a
because
parody of
you
yourself.
have not been advocating the pineapple syrup yet. So applying some super glue to make it stick, and I'm applying the green stuff sausage, like gently patting it flat.
The important
While
thing
I'm
about your
applying-
sausage is that either end is pointed because you don't need that much material on either end, right?
No, but I will eventually come to the point you can see about here, where I need to squeeze that.
Squeeze the sausage?
Yeah, squeeze the sausage into this hole.
Sorry, I'm not a 12-year-old, I promise.
Yeah. So the thing is that just apply some gentle pressure to the middle of those things, so you have the green stuff squeeze upwards and downwards, and you get this this ridge here. You can see that, and
Yeah,
you
that's
have
nice.
the ridge like on top of it. And then you are
It made it
almost,
look so easy.
yeah, and then you're almost done. What I do is you can either go there and, since it's cloth that it's been pushed upwards, you sort of follow the idea and push the green stuff slightly upwards with the tip of your blade, doing a sort of zigzag pattern while doing that. So push it up this way and push it up that way. And those zigzags will be the folds of the cloth. Just I always tend to do it too intense, and afterwards think, yeah, a little less would have worked as well.
Very dramatic rolled sleeves. Whoa!
Yeah. Ooh, those are really dramatic. And where in this area, well, like in the back, you can flatten out the those folds a bit, because
Can you move it up a
soften
little?
them out
A little
because-
further from your chest? You're just off the edge. You can't really see it. Further from
Yeah.
your chest.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in the area where the cloth will be tucked more tightly, you can push in with the blade more dramatically, because that's the area where the cloth will not crumble, but
Crumple?
crumple, yes. And there you can have more dramatic folds. And yeah, those dramatic folds blend out outwards. And there you are.
Wonderful.
So another one to check from the list.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Does anyone have suggestions in the chat? Like, everyone's here in the
You should
chat.
request the fur in the chat. Boots and/or fur.
Okay, I'll do fur.
I don't want to give my beggar a boot.
You do or you don't?
Boots?
Say again?
You
Does
do?
not want to give his beggar the boots.
Oh.
Okay, but what I want to do instead is this dude needs some needs a
skirt?
hat.
Okay.
No, I want him to have a hat, but I'm not sure if I need to bend the fishing rod a bit away from it. I want him to have this piratey hat. Yeah. There's this traditional I don't know, old school Warhammer fantasy human head that has this pirate hat, which the uplift tip up front and the eye patch, and I want him to have a hat similar to that.
Mhm.
So I'm starting out with a disc.
I believe Jacob Foster's asking if it's a tricorn hat. Crafting Troll says, how would you texture something to look like a dreadlock? And Peter Hampson still wants a pleated skirt.
Pleated skirt. That I kind of did the pleated pants thing on one of my other streams.
Oh, yeah. Right. Your
The ninja
hammer
pants.
pants.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Jacob Foster suggested those. But those would work for a pleated skirt. So refer to that video. I'm going to try and
Maybe
do...
use the armature underneath to kind of give it that flare out.
Yeah, armatures are your friends.
Yeah.
I don't know why this guy
If you
has fur on his back.
disregard the pleated skirt, because I have never seen a pleated skirt in Warhammer.
I've seen a pleated skirt in Infinity, I feel like.
Okay.
What's a pleated skirt?
It's like a skirt that
Like-
schoolgirls wear, like with folds in it.
That very sharp zigzag.
Private schoolgirls, folds in it.
Yep.
In all the movies.
Trigadiccio is off. Have a good one.
Night, Nick. Thanks for joining us.
Good night. Yeah.
Dreadlock texture, though.
I don't know about dreadlock
Dreadlock
texture.
texture.
Dreadlock texture.
I would go to Infinity and have a look at the Alguacils, which have a dreadlock head. I think it's basically just rows, like sausage rows, which have a punched-in zigzag pattern.
What about making a sausage and rolling it on tinfoil? Like trying to think of a texture thing it might stick to the tinfoil though. If you apply Nivea, or you can crumble up some baking paste by pulling it on
Yeah.
that. Jacob Kaufman says Isabella von Karsten has a pleated skirt.
Is that one of the vampire models?
I believe so.
Oh, she does.
You're applying fur right there, Mr. Pink?
I'm attempting it. I have no idea what I'm doing. In fact, I should use my new tool. Ding! I'm attempting to apply fur. What I'm doing is I'm doing like a diamond pattern for like the bits of fur. And I'm going to try and like pull up the edges and hope it works.
One of my favorite tools I have come up with recently is I went back to my youth and found these stamp pincers, because they are flat and they are round and they are not so harsh. And you can gently pull green stuff in the direction without having pincer marks on them.
Nice.
So this dude is basically having a disc on his head, which has been gently pulled into shape, because I just realized that there are those fisherman hats that go far onto the neck. Even down below the two in the shoulder blades. And it will be lifted upwards up front.
Peter Hampton is explaining that the reason he's asking about pleated skirts is because he has an idea for a homebrew war game that's basically Magical Girl anime meets Necromunda. That's
Yo,
cool, man.
what's her name? Saint Decent asked us to sculpt hot anime waifu. And I was like, I don't know, man.
Peter Hampton, if you're looking for a name for your homebrew war game, I could suggest. What was it? My friend made up this
Battle Royale
anime once. I think she called it like. She made up a Japanese name that was like Shimayoni.
Is
It
this
was
Jess?
called Crazy Nun Shenanigans.
Crazy what?
Crazy Nun Shenanigans.
Like guns, like
What's it? Shimayoni Oni or something. Sorry.
that's okay.
That's a great hat.
Thanks.
Didn't the old Escher minis have pleated skirts? I think so, yeah.
I don't think so. Really?
I think there was one or two.
No. They had pants because they had those buckles with a sigil on.
I think there was a Jude that had a skirt.
Nope. Sorry, but I'm pretty sure those Jews didn't have skirts. Okay, their angry fisherman is coming along. I have to admit that I'm really in love with the Dark Elder face because it's so thin, and applied with the beard, it gives him a very worn out and weather tough appearance. Weather beaten, a very weather beaten face.
So I went through and I made a bunch of diamonds for the fur, and now I'm going and like putting kind of furry marks on them. But what I want to do is I want to kind of like cut out the diamonds and then like lift the ends up to get the fur. But I don't know if this is going to work.
How about
I've seen someone do that with tweezers, where they can underneath the diamond with tweezers to lift it up.
Oh jeez, that seems like a lot of work.
But they're
with pincers?
Yeah.
Oh, didn't we have
You're-
someone questing fire?
Yep.
Just thinking about that. I have this dude set up,
you need fire.
and yeah, he will be the leader of one of those cults for the alignment 28. There you go, folks. Oh, I just threw away the. So he's apparently a magician sort of dude, and of course magicians are easily recognized by either pointy hats or hovering flames above their hands, and that's what he's having. He's having a hovering flame above his hand, and therefore I prepared some basically substructure
Armature.
that I'm covering. Armature, yes. That I will be covering with. If it wants to stick, it doesn't want to stick. So green stuff, superglue, green stuff. Shit. Sorry. Okay.
Too much beer or not enough?
Say again.
Too much beer
Too
or not
much
enough?
beer or not enough? I think it's been Christmas when I had my last beer.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I know. Kids. Kids.
Peter Hampton
So-
says, gang of cute girls dressed in silly dresses fighting ridiculous monsters each other downtown Tokyo. Seemed like a great idea for a skirmish war game.
Peter Hansen, one suggestion I'd like to add is they do this on subway or train platforms because those are the coolest places to fight off monsters.
Nice. I like it. Or in
So-
Harajuku, no, in Shinjuku's no, fuck, what am I doing? Where's the crossing?
The crossing. That's not Shinjuku.
It's not Harajuku either. It's... God,
Maybe
we should
it
know
is
this.
Shinjuku. I
Huh?
think it is Shinjuku.
It's not... Is it Shinjuku? I thought Shinjuku was where they had the giant building. Damn it, we suck.
Shibuya?
Shibuya! We're the worst weebs ever. But imagine them fighting in Shibuya and they have to stop every so often when the light changes.
Everybody freeze. And they're waiting on their corners to come.
Yeah, the monster goes over to the corner and waits, and the people go over to the corner and wait, and then the traffic comes through, and then they have to go back and start fighting again.
Hey man, you can't call me a shitty weeb. I live in Japan.
Yeah, well, you can live in Japan and be a shitty weeb.
I'm still above all the other weebs.
You are lord of weebs. Okay, so I think what I did is made a bunch of leaves, but I kind of like how it's turning out. I don't know. I gotta, like, pull it up a bit more, but I don't want to ruin it.
I think fur is one of those things that you just try and you'll get it.
Yeah, so what I did is I basically went and did a bunch of scales, or like diamonds, to make like different tufts of fur. And then I went back and I dirtied up the diamonds by putting like little lines on each of them. And yeah, now I can go back and at the point of each diamond I can try and lift it, but I might ruin the overall effect. I don't know.
I say give up. Go to the next.
So believing in my ability. Just give up. It's just that it doesn't have much like 3D-ness to it now. It's pretty flat, so I don't know.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, in case you're wondering what I'm doing, I just messed up as well. Because I forgot about rule number 1 when sculpting flames. You cannot do it, or it's harder to do it with mixed green stuff with epoxy sculpt mix. Because of what I said, the
Elasticity?
Yes. If you have a pure green stuff blob, you can just pull gently with the tweezer the green stuff, and it will eventually take those shapes you want it to. And if you have it mixed with epoxy sculpt, it will break. And that's what happened to me. And therefore, I have to work around with that. So what I did was I basically covered the blob in his hand with a green stuff epoxy sculpt mix, and pushed the green stuff back and forth to have those small little flames show up. And afterwards, I applied two very like long, thin teeth-like structures to it, which are sort of the major flame going up here. And to have some side flames, I just roll a tiny sausage, surprise, sausage, and stick the sausage to the side of it, and make it stand out a bit. So you can see that.
Very cool. Yeah. But also, it's important that the cuts you're pushing into the green stuff, they're vertical, right? They're up and down. Side to side, a little bit wavy, but they're up and down.
Yeah. Up and down, and always a little bit, you can push the green stuff against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so especially those deep areas will be afterwards painted white. And that will, if you have like dramatic rises and lows in the flames, it will be easier to paint as flames afterwards.
Now, do
If
you
it's-
prefer your flames like straight up and down, or do you like those GW flames where they're always getting blown around by the wind left and right?
Well, it pretty much depends on the whole miniature. On this one, I want to have a general direction of everything going upwards. You will get a pointy head that's going upwards as well. So if that's going up, the flame is going up. He will have a book on the other side of his hand. So I want to have a very static composition. And if you have, for example, a torchlight that's been waved, the flame would go this direction, like it maybe would flap a little bit, like a cloth, but not going in every direction, like being this. I don't know. I don't know how fire would ever look like one of those torchlights.
You were a science teacher.
Say again?
No. You don't have to know. You're an art teacher, not a science teacher.
Yeah. So that was basically my idea for flames. But as I said, don't use a mix of green stuff and epoxy sculpt because it's way harder.
Mm.
Yeah. So now I'm back at the point where I'm trying to apply green stuff to a wire armature, and I need to remind myself that gentleness is the key here.
So
I'm
we did hoods,
giving up.
We did cloth. We
I'm-
did fabric.
I'm giving up on my fur.
Sleeves, hair, ripples, backpack, hair, capes.
So I got
Pouches.
something that's kind of fur-like by doing that whole diamond thing, and then taking a knife tool and like putting like ridges on the diamonds. And I've also gone with a knife tool and I've kind of like poked it in places to make it look less uniform. To kind of make the fur like go in underneath the higher tufts. I've also kind of tried to pull up the edges of the diamonds, so it's okay for my first attempt at fur. I'm not crazy about it,
That's
but
really- They're really good.
I think it'll pass.
I'm not-
Especially, it's on the
I'm
creature.
not sure who makes it, but you know there's a fur maker, right? There's
Yeah.
sort of a silicon thing.
Mold,
can-
you push your grain stuff into it, and then
Yeah.
buffer. You know.
That's for, I don't know who makes it, but I don't know if that works actually, but
Someone did a really good tutorial on fur on the internet. I just can't remember where it is. And apparently I didn't pay enough attention to remember how to do it, because shit.
But it seems we've checked off almost everything on the list.
We
that
did?
was following in Mr. Pink's arbitrary guidelines of fabric.
Good.
awesome.
Oh shit. This guy's just blue tacked and he's coming off his base. Also, this fabric is really fucked up because I put superglue in the bottom like some crazy German told me. It was very
Oh, no.
smooth and now it's like kind of a mess, so I'm going to have to do another layer of green stuff over top to smooth it, but I guess once it hardens it'll be okay. Because superglue will let... What does your robe look like? Hydra, your one that you
My
put green
robe?
stuff on. No, the cape that you put green stuff on. Can we see it?
Oh, the inside, you mean?
No, the top side that should be smooth. What does it look like?
Like it's smooth.
Damn it. Why did I get screwed?
Because you probably got green stuff on the outside.
I got it on the bottom. It's only on the bottom. Maybe I put too much? I don't know.
Maybe it
You didn't use the bottle cap and
I didn't use the
Toothpick
bottle cap. I
application,
used
yeah.
my crappy, dirty green stuff tip to just jam a bunch of green stuff on there.
What's interesting though, what I had with a model where I used this technique, I sculpted a coat that was looking like that, and at some point it all went to hell.
Yeah.
And then I ripped off the green stuff with and remixed it with those plates of thin super glue green stuff mix inside, and reused that. And flattened out it again and used it in the same way. And that way I had those I had a weird texture on a freestanding coat. And I really liked that because it looked really ragtagged.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I think that might be an approach to mix things into your green stuff to get texture.
So Atelier said that they did fur with a needle, just drawing in the hairs. The result was good, but I would like to try the tufts as well. The needle is a really good idea for like getting the fur texture in there. I think the diamond thing, that's probably the one part that I remember from this tutorial that I saw, and it's to get that tuft structure. People were asking earlier, I don't know if they're still around, about like spoon tools and like Army Painter. I use a spoon tool that I stole from Brother Pink a long time ago. Do you even know where you got this?
Nope. I'm gonna guess Lee Valley.
No, really?
Why not?
Oh damn! If it's from Lee Valley, maybe I can get another.
Bought it for me, and if Dad bought it for me, he probably bought it from Lee Valley.
Good point. Dad bought a microplane for my Norn Queen, and he got it from Lee Valley.
I know.
She loved it. It's good. But I want to get another one like this, so I should look at Lee Valley. But I've been trying to replicate it, and I can't. But the closest one I found is Army Painter. Army Painter has a 3 sculpting tool set for $10 Canadian, which is pretty cheap. They've got a decent spoon in it, and they've got another tool kind of like this, like a big flat one, which is what I use for digging out putty. And I think they have like a knife tool in there as well. I have it here somewhere. I don't know where it is.
So on the spoon tool, now which part of the tool is most useful? Is it the convex or the concave?
The convex. Or at least for me, I use the convex to smooth everything, to push things around. The cool thing is that I tried to get... I went on eBay, and there was a spoon tool that was recommended by someone... God, I can't remember who it was. I think it's Polytroll. So I got this spoon tool on eBay, but it's much smaller than my spoon tool. But that's what I'm using the knife on. And the knife is actually really good on it. And it's small, and it's got like a hook on the end.
Okay.
Which, Hydra, were you the one who talked about the friend whose favorite sculpting tool was a Howling Banshee sword?
Yes.
I feel like this is somewhat like that.
Symbio Joe's gonna go.
Bye, Symbio Joe. Thanks for joining us, man.
I think he's
Goodbye.
falling asleep, not getting overly frustrated. I can't tell.
Okay. Good night.
He says before he hits his head on his keyboard, I don't know if he's hitting his head on his keyboard out of frustration or out of tiredness.
I'm hoping it's tiredness and not frustration.
Now, I have a tool that has a convex edge to it, like the spoon tool, but mine it's more of a spear point to it, and it's really useful.
Oh, interesting. Where'd you get that?
I think it's the one I sent you.
Oh! It's actually, that reminds me of this one, where it's like a long skinny thing that's curved.
Yeah.
And it's not too wide.
It's got a more of a point, not a sharp point, but it does point on the end. That I find it really useful.
Cool. Oh, that rounded point. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Tested G2 is currently sculpting, I think, a greater unclean one for his first ever sculpture. He's halfway through and it's heavy as fuck.
Yeah, the secret to doing that is that you got to start with like a styrofoam core or an aluminum foil core, because as you add green stuff to it, it's going to get heavier and heavier.
But at the same moment, you know it's getting more worthy and more worthy, right?
True. The heavier it is, the more worthy it is.
And the one thing I gotta say is Scratch Bashing made a greater unclean one out of wood, out of like pieces of wood he found.
You and Scratch Bashing, man. You guys should just you should propose marriage. You're his biggest fan.
I know. I should leave you for him.
Don't leave me! We're blood. Blood is thicker than your sexy feelings for Scratch Bashing.
Yes. But if you made it a wood grader and clean one and then sculpted over that with green stuff, it would be quite light.
Ah, good point. If, depending on the wood you use, especially if you could get some like balsa wood, that'd be super light.
Hmm. Well, like even that stuff. What's the stuff that washes up on the beach?
Driftwood.
Deadhead, yeah, driftwood. That stuff's pretty light too,
Yep.
as long as it's not wet. Ooh. Hydra, what are you doing there with you're hardening your string?
Yeah, hardening my string with super glue.
I like your application when you've got to apply it with that bent wire. It's really cool.
It's a good idea. I feel like I should get one of those.
Also, I feel that whenever you use chain, you should apply glue onto the chain.
Yeah.
Like you've got all those things, they have to have a kind of coating to them to kind of fit in with the model. When people just put like straight chain and they're like, aha, it's an actual chain, I don't have to paint this. It kind of just breaks it. It's kind of a different element to the model.
Yeah, it can be. And that's my problem with chainmail.
Mm.
That I feel that chainmail is something, it's very hard to be sculpted. Actually, stronghold terrain is they are doing a series of miniatures, some Western kind of miniature thing. But they also, on the last Spiel, the German toy convention I went to, they showed some preview miniatures for a Kickstarter they were doing, some undeads, which were basically a mixture of traditional sculpting and 3D sculpting, and they had some amazingly detailed chainmail. And they were so thin and so detailed that I, for the first time, figured that chainmail actually looked how it was supposed to look. But that doesn't help much for how to sculpt it. I would say don't.
Just cover it in fur.
Yeah.
Just underneath the fur. I might have to go soon, guys. I think I hear some movement.
I need to pee because I've been drinking too much tea.
Okay.
Oh, that rhymes. So
nice. Hydra, how you feeling?
I feel that we got 12. I think the missus is keeping me here for as long as she can, but the sooner, or let me put it that way, if I retire from this voluntarily without her calling me out, that would be to my benefit.
Get some Norn Queen points that we can use later to maybe play Death May Die.
Yes.
Okay, well maybe this is good. We got through a bunch of different things. Brother
I
Pink,
think we got through a whole bunch of things, yes.
Brother Pink, good call on the idea of having us sculpt different things so people could see more stuff. If you're watching this after the fact and you weren't able to join us on the stream... Oh, also, I never do this because I'm a terrible YouTube host, but if you're watching this and you're joining us in the stream, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more crazy sculpting stuff. I've had a really good time, and I think we should maybe plan to do another one of these.
Yes.
Focus on human stuff. Brother Pink?
Mr. Pink, are you going to do a stream this week?
I'm going to do a stream, just like a normal stream on Wednesday, like I always do, but I think that...
completely open.
What?
I'm completely free.
But I'm going to do it early, like I normally do.
You suck.
Well, I do it so that people in Europe can get it.
People in Europe have been getting it.
Yeah, but they got to stay up till like 2 a.m. But what we'll do is...
We've been doing Europe streams for at least 3 weeks.
Yeah, I wanted to do it for a full month. We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll try going back to the old time at some point. But this week I'm going to do a normal stream. But what I was going to propose, if Hydra's good for it, and he can talk to the Norn about it, would be doing a Great German Sculpt Off once a month. What do you guys think about that?
That's very ambitious.
Yes.
I'm
What?
honest. I would love to. I would really love to. but I think that's a little bit ambitious.
Once a month is ambitious?
Yeah, I'm not getting to play once a month. And
Oh,
you know,
okay.
the last time I've done miniatures, that was when we the last Wednesday, and before that it was I don't know when.
Well, I can just keep giving you reasons to do miniatures. I mean, I don't mind.
Yeah.
If it helps you sell the wife on it, I'm sorry, I gotta go do this thing for Nick.
How about we try and do it as often as possible?
Okay. Okay, I get
I'm
it. So you
sorry,
guys don't want to hear that it's once a month, but I'll just make sure that it is once a month, and then you can pretend that it's not.
What's a month?
Yeah, well, okay. What we can do, maybe we do a request stream once a month, and then we hope that Hydra can join us for the request stream. And if not, apparently Atelier wants to join us. And Atelier is a very good sculptor, so maybe, I think Atelier is a he. Maybe Atelier could jump on, or something like that.
Yeah, of course. Go forth and replace me.
Listen, asshole, I just told you that I wanted to plan my whole life around you. And then you're like, oh, I don't know. Oh, once a month. Oh, I never play. You got first kick at the can, buddy.
Say what?
You got first kick at the can. You got the first opportunity, and you refused it. You got the right of first refusal, and you refused that right.
I'm just kidding, guys.
Yes,
I'm
the truth is
gonna go,
often spoken in jest. What?
I'm gonna go.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Brother Pink. You were very helpful.
Yes.
Keep an eye on the comments before you shut her down.
We're probably going to shut her down soon, but honestly, it was really helpful to have you here, checking out the
problem.
comments and helping us with the prompts.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. So to let people know, I just feel that there needs to be a squid in this bucket of fish, and as with the fish before it, there are just tentacles going to poke out. Yeah.
Nice. Well, Peter Hampson is eager to track comments again, so we can maybe do that too.
Yeah.
Simon, if we do Wednesday streams, are you able to join Wednesday streams? Or is that challenging as well?
Wednesday streams. Let me think. Well, the thing is that I don't know what time we did it last time. And it sort of depends on how the lockdown situation in Germany will commence.
Yeah.
For February, I will be in parental leave, which sort of makes me more free.
Yep.
And on the weekends, that might be a little ambitious for Saturday nights, but
oh, so it's the Saturday night issue. So maybe on weekdays you're a little more free.
Might be, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Well, you and I can talk about it off the stream. Probably this is not interesting for anyone.
Maybe, yeah.
But what I wanted to
figure out a way.
What I wanted to get at is that I thought this was a really good model, and I like the idea of having people be able to submit some suggestions for what they want to see to sculpt. So I would like to replicate that at some point. The whole request thing.
Yeah, I really like that as well, especially that since most of the requests fit so well with what I'm doing right now anyway.
Yeah.
And I feel it's... I think when I'm looking at the list, well, I'm not looking at it right now. I'm trying to get those tentacles to stick, but when I'm looking at the list, I feel we have covered quite some ground here.
Yes.
Of course, we didn't get to the waifu, but that wasn't my plan, at least, to begin with.
Yeah, but there's other things that I kind of like. People suggested that were more unique, like Tyranid things. So there was someone who wanted us to show them how to sculpt these trolls that they were wanting to make and stuff like that. And for the first one, I wanted to try and do something that was most useful for everyone. Because this stuff is kind of what we're basically doing is we're giving people textures that they can apply to models across different models in different places. Sometimes
Yeah.
40K, also fantasy. Yeah, so for the next one, maybe we could do more specific requests or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Sounds good. Especially sounds challenging. I think what went well today was that we sort of worked on different things next to each other, and it wasn't that much of a challenge as I expected it to be. Which, don't get me wrong, isn't bad because it, being good on short time's notice is always challenging.
Yeah.
But I think we can do that next time that we actually do that. That someone sort of shouts like, "Yeah, we need now, I don't know, troll skin. Do
Mhm.
troll skin," and we try to do troll skin as good as we can. Like having
yeah.
no, I don't want to get this a competition or anything, but something a little bit more thrilling.
Yeah, and like I don't yeah, not competition, but I still really like the idea of the two of us doing the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
so maybe if we don't have, this time we had a lot of requests, so
Yeah.
it was probably good to go through as many as we could by trading off, but it would be really cool if one time maybe we don't have as many requests, that we both try and do the same thing. And then we can see like different ways of doing it. Yeah.
That sounds thrilling.
Like, for example, your fire thing. I didn't actually get to watch you sculpt fire because I was sculpting. But for fire, I would make an armature out of plasticard, and I would get like the rough shape of the flame that I want in plasticard, and then I would just fill it in with green stuff.
And I would do a hood completely different.
Oh, okay. This is good. This is good. So next time you can see how I do fire, and I can see how you do hoods.
That's good. Look, we finally found a way to do a hobby time together and have the rest of the world watch us doing it.
Well, I thought we already did that on the Wednesday stream, but yeah.
Oh, that's right. But,
So,
yeah.
Would you be more willing to do this kind of request thing if it was on a Wednesday rather than another Saturday?
I think be committing with a certain time frame, and we do this every so often. That's probably more pressure than the whole thing
Right.
needs or is good for.
Okay.
I would say if we try to do that as often as we can.
Yep.
And we happen to see that it's once a month, that's fine. And if it's not every month, that's maybe cool as well.
Okay, sounds good. And then, yeah, because the reason we did it on the Saturday was so we could get Brother Pink here, because we always like to involve him. But if he is not available because we're doing it at a different time on like a weekday when he can't be up, then maybe there's a lot of people in the chat who are volunteering to help out. Like Jacob Foster's volunteering, Peter Hampson. So
nice.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Jacob sounds good, so he can do actually anything without his shoulder acting up.
Yeah.
Best wishes, man.
Yeah, feel
Best
better,
wishes.
buddy.
Health is so important.
So, Jacob, we haven't had you on in a while. Maybe we'll do, let me know if you're available this Wednesday, round about 4:15 Eastern time, and maybe we can get you on for that. But Atelier is saying, honestly, I'm amazed with the amount of stuff you got done. So, congratulations, Hydra.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And Crafting Troll, he worked on for 1 hour, and he painted 40 mushrooms, which is finally finished. It was a good stream. Thanks for showing your sculpting skill, guys.
Well, thank you very much.
Jacob Foster is painting skim tones, and apparently he's getting them done.
Nice.
Flinthammer says going to need to rewatch to catch everything. That makes sense. I hope everything was kind of visible for you guys. It's tough to, like, when you're sculpting and trying to keep it on a camera, it's not ideal. But we tried our best. Yeah. Oh, Jacob Foster has just finished his Skaven Skins. Okay, he's open. So, Jacob, I'm officially booking you for Wednesday. So we'll set that up, and you can help out with comments on Wednesday. And maybe we'll try Peter next week. What else are people saying?
Okay, while you're reading the comments, I can go through the stuff I did today.
Yes.
And maybe get it in focus. So we have this dude.
I'm going to give you a little more
a
room.
leg and a wooden stick now. He's got a backpack. And he's got a fisher hat. And he's got some pouches.
Nice. Whoa. Oh,
And a beard. Yeah, that's what he got. He's going to get a big net over his shoulder in the end. But I don't have that on me right now.
Yep. Oh, that's what his hand's for?
Yeah, that's what his hands are for. We have a freestanding, still not right, but still floating superglue coat.
So you literally just did that floating off the model and then put superglue on the bottom, and now it's good?
Yeah.
God damn, you're good.
It still is a little, the green stuff is not cured yet, so I can still push it around a bit, but it's basically set. So the reason I do that is because I can now work on the model if I wanted to, and I don't know, apply the next code and whatever, because it's just quicker. And I have this dude. I think he changed the most from what I started, and he got some fish in his bucket, and some octopus hanging out, and he got a beard, and he got a vest, fisherman's head, and a fishing rod.
Good work.
And that's it for me. So what you got?
Okay, I'll review what I did. Hold on, just modifying, adjusting. Oh shit.
Yeah?
I'm breaking things. 1 sec. I'm trying to be fancy. Okay. I think you did more stuff than me. I think you won this sculpt off. So I did this bit of cloak sticking out from a guy, different from Hydra's approach, where he just kind of like sculpted it and hi, Sini! Sculpted it and put super glue in the bottom. But I did a armature to hold it out and get the folds. And then I put some super glue on it, and it did some weird puckering. So I have to clean that up after. But it's decent for like a robe. Actually, you know what? It might be good. We'll see. So there's that. And then I did a piece of cloak hanging down just behind this dude to cover up where his assless chaps should have gone. I also did some fur stuff on him, and I'm glad
smooth. It's so smooth, dude.
That's all about the silicone shaper, and that's the key for getting the fabric so smooth. You got to use that silicone shaper. And I'm glad I worked on this because this is for Hydra's alignment event. This is my sorcerer for Frostgrave.
That was what I was about to say, that I love you for this as well.
Good. So yeah, now he's got a fancy back. His back won't get cold because he's got lots of fur. So I did the fur thing. And then...
the fur looks awesome, dude.
Thanks. Yeah, it worked out pretty well. It's just that diamond trick and then just putting lines in it and kind of like peeling it up. I'd want the tufts to be a little pointier, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Job's a good one. And then I did the ugly, ratty, rippy cloak on this zombie Zeke or whatever the heck I called him, just by pulling down the green stuff and stretching it. I used the Hydra trick of putting a few drops of super glue so that I could keep the green stuff where I wanted it while I was tearing it, and then went through and put some holes in it and just used a silicone shaper to kind of get the pleats into it. You can see there's some bits hanging down there in the back. They'll harden pretty well, and they'll be pretty steady because they're not too long. Okay, so there's that. And then I did Mr. Hood, which I feel like didn't turn out as well as it could have because he's got like a weird horny head thing, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a big, like billowas hood. If he didn't have those horns, I could get it closer to his head, and I could probably clean up the back a bit more. But I was really inspired by Necromunda. I can't remember which it is. Whatever the next book that's coming out is. And they got that House of Masks. And I saw someone on Instagram using these masks to represent those dudes, and I thought it was a really cool idea. So I want to kind of Necromunda this guy up a bit more, even though he's got some cool, like, medieval armor on. Yeah. So that's it for me.
Good. Great job, I think.
Great job to you as well.
I have to say that I am quite astonished by how much things we got done. I wasn't sure if we'd get even half of that done.
You work really quick, though. I don't know why you'd say that.
Yeah, I try to. But
Well-
between. I figured when I'm working on my own and without explaining things, I just feared that I would be slower because I was explaining more. But I am sorry if I didn't explain that much because at some point I just got carried away and just did things.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, the flow caught me.
So I'm closing. Look at this. Look at our workspaces. Matchy matchy.
Matchy matchy. Guess who I got the stickers from?
Oh, also part of the matchy matchy. Let's see if we can get this in here. Look at that.
Nice.
And then we got these guys. We got some Michelangelo. Oh, I gave you one of these guys too, right?
Yeah.
And oh, look at this guy. You gave me this guy.
Nice.
And then I got, while we're showing stickers, I got Vague Monkey here, which is Grim and Gribbly's like model company. He makes like action figures. And then I got Carnage in here because he's the best. I don't have a Venom, or else I'd put a Venom there because Venom's even better. But anyway, this is getting random.
Okay.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Folks, the stand-in says good night as well.
The stand-in.
Good night.
Oh, wait, who was your stand-in?
This dude.
What's his name? Does he have a name?
I think Reeves, something like that. He's a pod racer apparently from episode 1. So
He is?
he's the living proof. He's the living proof that there has been cool stuff in episode 1.
No, I think he's from original Star Wars. I think he's like in the cantina or something.
Yeah, of course he shows up there. I think Jabba's bar.
Oh, gotcha.
But,
Okay.
He got squeezed in afterwards into episode 1.
Oh, okay.
So the good thing is I will be having 2 of those, and that will be the ability to slap some paint onto this dude to have 2 different and have them hang out together and
Nice.
blah 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 blah. Let's close this off, mister.
Yes, good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us in the chat. It was awesome. Sorry we couldn't get to all your comments, but hopefully we got to enough. We'll make sure that we get Peter next time, because Peter is really good at getting like all the comments. I mean, everybody's good, but Peter like nails it. Yeah. And wait, is that the old Empire Archer model? Hydra, was that? I think that was directed at you. Were you using an old Empire Archer model?
For what?
For one of your guys you're sculpting.
Oh no, those were both trash models from Brother Vinny.
Okay. Although, I don't know if he was talking to me, but I was not using an Empire Archer anywhere.
Okay.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Okay.
And if you're watching this, the recorded version of this, please like and subscribe to the channel for more good videos like this. And please let us know in the comments what you thought about it and how you'd like us to like proceed with the next version of this video, how we could make it better for everyone's reference. And yeah, we'll take it from there. So thank you all so much. Bye.
Bye. Good night, world.